Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be another episode of SNTR Gaming News, and we are going to be discussing the taken down footage. We actually covered this leaked footage on this channel. It was a previous stream. We have since unlisted that stream while we investigate the situation. We aren't sure if all of that footage is sort of getting taken down by FromSoftware. We're not sure if we weren't allowed or they weren't allowed. We don't even know if maybe they were a part of the network test, and maybe that's why the videos got taken down as sort of a, hey, you broke NDA, you're not allowed to do this sort of a thing. And we like to give you quick breakdowns here at the beginning of the stream if that's exactly what you're looking for. As always, we always follow up these intros with a live stream discussion for a couple of hours. So hit subscribe and the bell button if you like my FromSoftware coverage. Every Friday is From Friday, so make sure you're subscribed in here for those great days. This is an SNTR update. Elden Ring leaked gameplay footage is starting to disappear on YouTube and then reappear because people want to test fate. We have actually covered that leaked gameplay footage and have since taken action to make sure we're in good with FromSoftware while we investigate the situation. If you like these SNTR updates, remember to hit subscribe and the bell button and check me out on SNTR Gaming where I stream live. So what exactly was leaked? Well, there are two things that we are starting to see disappear from some of the channels of origin where this footage first showed up. Now, there are still videos up right now breaking down a lot of this footage, breaking down a lot of these things, and we're not sure if FromSoftware is maybe only going to the people after the people that, you know, the stuff originated from, maybe because they were a part of the technical test and they feel like it's a breach of NDA. We aren't really sure what FromSoftware is doing, so for the time being, we unlisted a very big stream that we had just because we don't want them to think that we're like not abiding by their rules if they don't want this footage out there. So the leaked footage was of a couple footage links were Crucible Knights. There was somebody named Allison by Proxy and another really small YouTube channel that had basically either gotten out of bounds or was using the PlayStation 4 jailbroken sort of trick to get back into the technical test so that they were able to continue to sort of explore the areas and go to areas that were, you know, either out of bounds or not previously seen. That footage has disappeared, those Crucible Knight pieces of footage. Now, somebody else I saw just this morning still had a video up, months old, of them going to the similar area down off a cliff to fight a Crucible Knight, and that was some of the footage that we covered. So some of the footage is still up, so we're not really sure what the cause of these takedowns, you know, exactly was. Our coverage was basically a breakdown of what it looked like. We were looking at the particle effects, the graphical fidelity of the enemy, the detail in the armor, to continue to make the case that, like, this game is beautiful, and a lot of the graphical comparisons and criticisms are just absolutely ignorant when you actually break down genuine footage from somebody who had access to the game. Now, the other coverage that is out there is, again, it's iterative. It's something that they created new content with. I saw a video just this morning of somebody looking at the character creator. That's some of the footage also that seems to be disappearing, and he's just watching the character creator leaked footage and giving commentary. Even some of the news outlets, some of the gaming news outlets continue to put up those images and continue to leave that coverage up. So we aren't really sure what the reasoning is here for just a handful of channels getting hit while everybody else seems to be sort of in the clear for now. Now, as far as we can tell, these were not copyright strikes. The one channel in particular is still monetized. It still has ads running on it. If they had received a copyright strike, a community guideline strike, it would have taken away their monetization for however many months that the strike lasts. I believe they last 3 to 4 months. So we again have since unlisted the video while we investigate, because as far as we could tell, the footage had been up for weeks. It seemed to be public knowledge. It seemed like once something's public knowledge and in view of the public, you're free and in clear, you know, to cover it. If companies want to protect their copyrighted material, they are well within their rights to do it, and typically they respond pretty quickly when this sort of a thing happens. Some game companies just take a more relaxed posture. They're like, it doesn't really matter. The game will be out in February. This just adds to the hype. We don't don't really care about leaks. In this regard, though, for some reason, FromSoftware decided to start taking down some of the videos that are out there with the leaked gameplay inside of it. Now, what do you think of the leaked gameplay footage? Did you see it? Did you like it? What do you think of some of it being taken down? If you have any information, if you've investigated this, or if somebody officially responded from FromSoftware, we would love to hear and figure out what in the world is going on. As always, if you like these really quick updates here on SNTR, we stream live over on SNTR Gaming, so check out our gaming channel. It is linked below, and click that subscribe and that bell button here, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see the rest of you right now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Just such a strange situation for leaked footage that had been up for weeks. Some of it has been up for months, and we covered it to just great support. I mean, it was really good. It was one of our most watched live streams. The past broadcast had received almost 10,000 views, so it's absolutely gutting to have to unlist that, but we want to play nice with FromSoftware. We obviously respect them and love their games, and we don't want to leave something up that they've clearly, at some level, they've made it clear that they don't want that footage out and in circulation. So not necessarily in danger of any copyright strikes, again, as they don't seem to be handing out strikes, but they are sending takedown requests. I suppose we could kind of run the gamut and the gamble and just say, hey, we'll just leave it up, and if they send a takedown request, we'll honor it. But I don't like gambling with the channel in that regard, even for a very successful past broadcast. So a bit of a bummer here, being I think our 4th or 3rd most watched live stream on the channel. Our most watched stream, funny enough, was the Elden Ring gameplay reveal that they did live. It wasn't live, but everybody knew when the video was going to hit, and we did like a live breakdown coverage of it. So that's our most watched live stream on the channel. So good to see you in the chat feed. I see you. I see the rest of you. Good morning to everybody. Good to see you, Hex and Jin. I'm kind of combining your names there. Hex and Jin and Craig, Peepo and Blueberry Muffin. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Make sure you're on live chat. Make sure you have pressed the like button. Get your coffee orders in if you want to be the first coffee order of the day. I got a new batch of 80s teas. This one I was especially happy with the size of the print. For those Smashing Pumpkins fans in the audience, I was very pleased with this one. I got a whole batch of really good 80s teas. Those will be showcased all throughout next week. Make sure and use code Lono if you go to 80steas.com. That's a really big discount for you. And as this channel continues to grow, we love to see our sponsors supported. They've been so kind to work with us, as well as the disc plates in the background. We do now have the Elden Ring one set right side up. Set right side up. We had that one upside down for weeks. Every time it's been upside down, and somebody finally pointed it out to me. I thought it was pretty funny that we completely didn't see the fact that it was upside down for weeks. Especially skipped yesterday because of Horizon Forbidden West. No worries with me for Elden Ring surprises. Yeah, yesterday was just a trailer breakdown, but there are people now that avoid trailers. I do this with Marvel movies. I do this with movies that once I know I'm going to go see it, I'm like, why would I watch a trailer? Like, I don't want to see, any more of the game than I already have. Or in this case, for me, it's more movies. I don't necessarily avoid trailers for games. I kind of can't do that given my line of work. We were sort of, forced to watch them to a certain degree. And so we appreciate everybody that tuned in yesterday. Yesterday was a little weird. YouTube was acting squirrely. We didn't quite get the turnout we expected. Every time we've covered Horizon Forbidden West, we have gotten amazing support. And yesterday, it just wasn't there. And we attributed some of that to YouTube. Some of you said that you were having trouble getting in the stream and having to refresh. We're having some issues on the back end of YouTube as well. It seems they're laying groundwork for some upcoming changes, so we're excited about that. We know they're investing in live streaming for the coming year, and they may be doing some of that right now. We are hoping to see some very good things soon because there has been a lot of disruption of the platform. I know you're good about no spoilers. I'm glad to see nothing for Horizon Forbidden West. Like you, once I'm in, I see nothing. Yeah, there was really, really great detail of the characters yesterday. They did a cast reveal stream video. Once you finally play the game, you should loop back and watch that because they showed. They're all, they're wearing the mocap equipment and they're acting, and you get to see Lance Riddick and Ashley Birch and the different characters and seeing the similarities in some of their appearances and hearing their voices and stuff. It's actually pretty cool, given how much work goes into it. I'm curious what you guys think about these Elden Ring leak takedowns. There could be marketing deals about to come into play, and they need the footage down. So Eugene is saying a couple of things. If the leaked footage is from hacked areas of the network test, they could be having them taken down because they aren't accurate. It's a different build. If it's all from hacked areas of the network test, fair use doesn't apply. I need a Rocky Loves Emily 80s tee. I don't know if they have those over there, Patrick. You'll have to go and search, and just anytime you use 80s tees, just remember to use my code. They've got a ton of shirts over there. I think between YouTube acting up and people not wanting Horizon Forbidden West to get spoiled was the reason for lower than normal numbers. I don't agree with the second part of what you're saying, Bowers, because when we covered the full game getting leaked, we were jam-packed all day. And people were piling in. When we did the Slitherfang excuse me. When we did the Slitherfang gameplay breakdown, people were piling in. So I don't think that's what it was. I think YouTube was acting funny. We had a stream from the previous day where we covered the Microsoft situation where they purchased Activision Blizzard, and that video was acting insane on the back end. The live chat wasn't there. It didn't post as a VOD until like in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know. YouTube was definitely acting funny. Are you going to cover the Taipei Games Show 2020 ER showcase? I don't know if... I think somebody asked me about that. Somebody asked me about that, and they were curious if we're going to cover it. We don't know if we'd be able to cover it because we don't know if we'd be able to understand what was going on. I mean, I guess if they had footage and things, we would chop up the footage later. So I don't know if we can get a lot from a broadcast where we might not be able to understand. Hey, our first coffee order of the day coming in. A bag of dark roast going to Blueberry Puffin. Thank you so much, Blueberry Puffin. It would have English subtitles. Do we know when that is? Do we know when that is? We need to get a poll going about these leak takedowns. Let's see. Elden Ring leaked gameplay takedowns. Opinion. Take them down. Where's the space? There it goes. Take them down or leave them up. Which would you do if you're in charge, right? Which would you do? Which would you do if it were up to you? Elden Ring leak gameplay takedowns. What would you do if it were up to you? Would you take them down or would you leave them up? We're not talking about whether or not they have the right to do this because they obviously are well within their right to take down footage that was not approved according to NDA agreements of people that got into the technical test. That's not in debate. I'm just curious what you would do if it were up to you. Would you just leave them up? Because, hey, man, leaked gameplay, why not? It's a hype machine, like, let people see it. Or would you take them down if you were in charge? How would you approach this if it was your property? Mike on to Mike with a $5 tip says, good morning, my guys and gals. We got a bit of a tip train going here. Coyote with a $10 tip. Hello, no. The Rageless Dark Roast makes an amazing cold brew. Cannot recommend it enough. There you go. Coyote, for those of you that enjoy a cold brew, grab some of our Rageless Roast and grab that Dark Roast if you're interested. Robert says, take them down. We control the hype. So there's an opinion. He's saying, listen, it's our game. It's our property. We want to control the hype. I certainly can see the reasoning behind that. The Taipei stream will be 7 a.m. Eastern. Do we know what day that is? What's the date? 7 a.m. Eastern when? If it's on the weekend, we're not doing that. We'll break down the footage after the fact. Stop spoiling stuff for people, says Mark. As in, so you don't like the fact that people leak the stuff out there. Barrier says, keep them up for folks that want to see them. Ashton says, if this was my business, I would take them down. Even from a gamer perspective, I want to enjoy the game as blind as the rest of the community. I mean, it's hardly spoiling stuff for people. It's your choice whether or not you click on it. On the 24th. Okay, so on the 24th at 7 in the morning. Well, dadgummit, that'd be a freaking early morning. We will see. Now, hang on. Zuth is saying tomorrow the 22nd. Axe of Eugene says, take them down. You got to set the precedent that you will not get to post footage you're not supposed to have and arguably nefariously obtained. At this point, does it matter as long as there's no major spoilers in the leaked gameplay? Yeah, you guys are casting your votes. It seems like the audience is very split this morning. A lot of you are saying, Zuth is saying, my bad, the 24th. So Monday morning, we'd be getting up pretty dadgum early. Okay. Hilly says, I would take them down. We have no idea what build of the game that it is. The actual game might be different. So many reasons. Yeah, Eugene said something like that earlier, like this might not be a good representation of the game. They want to control the marketing. They might even have marketing deals, like certain things that are coming out and people being like, hey, like we're supposed to have the exclusivity rights to show off the character creator, or if, like, let's say you let somebody put up a video and you give them access to fight the Crucible Knight, and they want to upload a video showcasing the knight and showcasing his armor. Well, all that changes if you are, all that changes if you're letting people do the thing early, you know. And that's obviously not ideal. I just realized that part of our desk is in the shot. So I'm gonna lay Deadpool there. He'll guide you. He'll guide you to the Rageous Roast. He's spying on you. Here, let's get him in the shot just right, so he's not blocking the coffee too much. There we go. Stand up, bro. There we go. We're being joined by Deadpool right there. What's going on? Did somebody leak gameplay early? Algorithm is screwing with recommendations. Some thumbnails can be quite spoilery. It's unfair for people who want to go in blind. I got spoiled 4 bosses of the CNT. What is that? Do I get to vote for indifference, says JS Gaming Haven. I'm not bothered either way. Someone leaks influence people's purchasing of a game one way or another. Anthony A. coming in with 5 months of membership says, good morning, Lono and chat. If you guys are just tuning in, there was an Elden Ring gameplay leak, and we covered it, and some of those leaks are disappearing. Here's what's the most interesting part about this, right? Not all of them are disappearing, only some, which is extremely interesting. I saw a guy with, I don't even know, 30 to 50,000 views, and he was just looking at the character creator like we were, and the video's still up, tons of views, tons of support. I'm like, well, I don't understand why they're picking and choosing individual videos to basically make, hey, take those down. And again, they're not striking channels. They're merely, as far as I can tell, they're merely submitting takedown requests like, hey, take the video down, and the people are obliging. Now, the one guy's not obliging. He continues to re-upload the footage, and so it's a little interesting. Does your coffee come whole bean or already ground? It is pre-ground coffee. We don't have the ability to do some whole bean and some ground. So yeah, you would be able to get it ground and not have to worry about, not everybody has a bean grinder in their home. So that's what I just said. Oh, you did? You said that? I mean, if I were in charge, I know exactly what I'd do. Take down a few big ones, get the buzz going, PR stunt to get people watching it to beat the takedowns. Right, because there are people reposting them. Well, the interesting thing is I don't necessarily know if they're doing this for PR to say, oh, we're going to take down a couple. It was very quiet. There wasn't a lot reported on this. There's nobody else reporting on this. As far as I know, we're one of the only gaming news outlets covering this. There was a post on a forum about this, like, hey, this guy's video got taken down. So I went on my own and I was like, wait a minute, we watched Allison by proxy and we watched this other guy's video. So I went and looked, and sure enough, those videos are gone. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I mean, we literally just watched them the other day, and we had a really, really huge stream, and nothing happened to us. What's going on? Because if they're using Content ID, they would have found us and been like, oh, yeah, you watched the same footage. Can you please take that down? So the coffee stays fresh, as Matasbo, long enough, not as fresh as grinding at home, long enough that I get through the bag. Okay, there you go. So Matasbo saying it stays totally fresh even though he's not grinding it himself. Could they have issued takedowns and the channel just refused to comply, and that's why the vids are still up? Well, we didn't get a takedown request, Eugene, because we would have immediately complied. We voluntarily took the videos down. We're like, well, it's an amazing stream, but like, I love FromSoftware. I don't want to make them mad. Like, I don't want them to be angry with me or anything like that. We did not receive a takedown notification, and we were using the exact footage that got taken down. And again, these are not copyright strikes. These people didn't get in trouble. They didn't get, like, smacked with the book. They just, as far as I can see, they had a takedown request. Like, hey, can you take that down? And they obliged. All their videos that contained that footage are now gone. Because Allison by Proxy's channel is still monetized. That's how we know it wasn't a strike. If you get hit with a strike, it's a very serious thing. It affects your channel for like 3 or 4 months. You can't be monetized for that amount of time. Letting people watch creates hype. It sounds great, says Tommy, but if FromSoftware wanted people to see the footage, they would have done it. I assume there's a contractual agreements at play. Here's the thing about leaks. Leaks are massively helpful for promotion. We had 10,000 views on our video, and I wasn't even live anymore. I shut down, and after I shut down, over the course of a week, we got like 9.1 thousand views on the video. That's crazy, for us especially. That's almost as many views as we have subs. Like, that's really, really good to have a video performing that well. So clearly, people are looking for the footage, finding it, and watching it, and enjoying it. Like, you may not, but leaks do serve, I think, a helpful purpose sometimes for the game, as long as it's something that is minuscule. I'm not talking about, like, here's the entire story. Like, that happened to The Last of Us 2. And recently, Horizon Forbidden West, the entire game apparently got leaked, and people are worried about story elements getting out there. So, I mean, be fair warned, there's potentially Horizon Forbidden West entire full game spoilers out there. Now, an Elden Ring gameplay leak of somebody fighting like a Crucible Knight, that's not super serious. Now, it is serious when someone breaks NDA, like they sign an NDA, they're in the technical test, and then they use a jailbroken PlayStation 4, and they leave areas and get out of bounds and show footage that they agreed not to show. Sure, that's a serious thing. But the problem with the internet now is you've kind of got to lean into it at times. Like, hey, once The Last of Us story elements were out there, there was nothing they could do. It was like, well, that's the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows now, right? Trigger this fan base with one sentence. Horizon Forbidden West looks better. There you go. What's good, Kat? Happy Friday. Thank you, Kat. Welcome in. I agree with that. Sometimes I believe these leaks are intentional from the gaming companies themselves. This is certainly not that. These Elden Ring gameplay leaks were not intentional leaks that FromSoftware put out there. Certainly not. If they did, they wouldn't be taking some of them down. Like, it's so random. It generates hype, but usually big companies want to control the narrative as much as possible. If they haven't officially released a piece of content, then they don't want people seeing it. Oh, I certainly agree with what you're saying, that they want to control the narrative. They want to be in control of the property. They want to be in control of what exactly is going on. And in my mind, sometimes it's worth taking your hands off the wheel and, being like, all right, this is fine. This is organic hype. Organic hype is better than manufactured hype. Anytime you attempt to manufacture hype, it's going to pale in comparison to organic hype and excitement when people on their own do this. Now, companies know this, okay? They know this. They leak a poster, or they leak an announcement, or the gameplay leaks, and then everybody's ravenous to go see it. Why? Because they feel like, oh no, it'll get taken down sooner. Oh my gosh, we're doing something wrong. You know, like we're doing something we're not supposed to do. We're seeing something we're not supposed to see. And generally, that organic hype is stronger than any manufactured hype that you try to produce. So sometimes I think these companies, it's like, listen, you got to have a spectrum for severity here. Like, how severe is it if some of this stuff gets out? Like, it's not that severe. And especially, once it's out, it's out. Once it's out, it's out. Like, the character creator's been out for weeks. Everybody that wanted to see it has seen it, you know? Taking down a couple of videos of the character creator, you're not achieving anything. Like, it's over. It's done with. Like, it's... Now, if they did it to these channels in particular, because these channels in particular clearly had access to the technical test, and that's why they made them take the videos down. Like, listen, you're not going to benefit from breaking your NDA, and you're certainly not going to be involved anymore with what we do, right? So it stands to reason that they might be doing this purely from a punitive standpoint of like, listen, it's clear you did this. You went, got the footage, went out of bounds, went and did all this stuff. You're not going to benefit from that. Now, if the press covers it and these articles and these other videos are out there, if they're out there, then that's different. I think Allison's channel is gone. No, we checked yesterday. It was still there. It was even still monetized, but the videos were gone. Allison by proxy. Let's see. I misspelled it. Yeah, here we go. Allison by proxy. Oh my gosh, are you freaking serious? Yeah. The channel's gone. Allison by proxy's channel is gone. Just checked and I can't find it. That's insane to me. That is absolutely insane. Yesterday the videos were gone and now the channel's gone. So the question is, why that channel and why not other channels? Why not other channels? I'll tell you what I'm doing. Who's Allison by proxy? Somebody who clearly, you can guarantee you the leaks will be re-uploaded now. If people are breaking the user agreement, it should be taken down. Just checked, can't find it. Yeah, channel's gone. Told you FromSoftware are baddies and they want to destroy small creators. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. I don't think they want to like hurt small creators. I just did something incredibly painful. Ours is gone permanently now. Ours is gone permanently. I thought they were just making takedown requests. That's what I thought they were doing. Like, hey, you got to take that down. You can't have that. That's insane to me. Wouldn't out of bounds stuff be breaking TOS? Well, if there's a couple moving parts here. If they knowingly broke their NDA and then uploaded the video, right? Uploaded the video, Allison by proxy. Yeah, that's the video. That's the channel. How come you can find it? I can't find it. I cannot find it. Allison by proxy. Oh, no, there they are. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's one video. It's one video. I'd rather be safe than sorry. They took yours down? No, I took mine down voluntarily. We had it unlisted, but it looked like Allison by proxy's channel was gone this morning. I couldn't find it. No, you can't restore it. It's gone. It's not a big deal. It's one video. It's not a big deal. It's one video. We broke 1 million views on this channel last year. I'm not worried about it. It's not a big deal. Look at this. None of the major YouTubers that cover From games have touched that out of bounds stuff. Did the recycling bin save it? No. They took Lono's down by proxy. That's good. Come on, look at you inciting panic. Listen, those videos are gone. Why tempt fate? I'm not about to tempt somebody being like, well, you know, we really think the fact that you ran the footage for 2 hours is like multiple infractions. You see what I'm saying? Like, no, it's gone. Better safe than sorry. It only had 16,000 views. Like, that's not that big of a deal. It's not gonna hurt us. That's not what you would do if water was pouring in. We had our dishwasher swap this morning, and my wife came in and tried to pull a prank. She's like, water is pouring in. I'm like, really? And you're in here telling me that's what you would do? Is the dishwasher nice? Great. Oh, Mama took a picture with it. She took a selfie with it. I don't need to see it now. I don't need to see it yet. Oh, it does? Did you guys take notes while you watched? They were sketching? Okay, you gotta take notes. You could be a worker like that one day.
That's what they kept saying.
Too gross? Oh, you okay? Oh, you want to be a weekend librarian?
A realist, because she knows she
A full-time job in addition. You want an animal job on the weekdays, and then you want to be a librarian on the weekends. I support you in your decision. Anyway, we had the dishwasher swap this morning. It was working, but it was clear that it was probably going on the way out. It was acting kind of funny, and a friend of ours was like, when they're that old, he was like, it's just one day, it just isn't going to work. Yeah. Or water will start pouring into the house because it'll get backed up and then start pouring out the front and all that. So, yeah, Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, 80s Tea sent me a whole new batch of shirts, and I was very pleased with this one. The print size is awesome. It's legendary. Siamese Dream, still the best album they ever put out, I think. Most cohesive. Time for Annuals canceling by a company he invests his time into. Now it's FromSoftware. Right. They should have been in trouble. Stop it. Well, if people... Listen, here's the thing. When people knowingly break the rules, that's one thing. We covered publicly viewed, publicly distributed leaked footage. The leaked footage of the character creator was in an article. The leaked footage of the guy fighting the Crucible Knight was in an article. We didn't go and seek out like rule breaking and like, oh, let's go do something we're not supposed to. No, we as a form of like the video game news media, we covered it like the news. It was like, listen, this is in view of the public. It's in articles. It's in YouTube videos. There's other YouTubers reacting to it. And it had been up for weeks, right? It had been up for weeks. So we didn't like jump on some random leaked video on 4chan. It was like, it's on multiple YouTube channel. Multiple YouTubers had already reacted to it. There were articles about it. I was like, come on, this is totally free and fair for us to cover. Well, it turns out I'm not risking anything. I got rid of the video, right? I spent $400 on beer just to throw at Billy Corben at a show. Why were you doing that to him? You don't like him? I say leave them up. It seems like free advertising to me, says Dan. Dishwashers save marriages. My wife and I used to have fights over doing the dishes. Yeah. The worst part about doing the dishes is always the silverware. It's the most tedious. I got pretty good at it. What I would do is I would take a colander and I would set it in the sink and I would wash something, right? It was all like soapy or whatever. Wash it and then drop it in the colander. So wash a knife, drop it in the colander. Wash a fork, drop it in the colander. You go much faster that way because typically what you're doing is like you wash a knife and rinse it, right? No, wash a knife, rinse. Wash a knife, no, batching. You got to do batching. So you wash all the silver and every time you're done soaping it up and scrubbing it, you drop it in the colander, okay? And then all the clean, washed Silverware is in the clean colander, and then you just take this, then you just rinse it all off, and because it's a colander, all the water goes out the bottom. That's how you wash silverware. That's a life hack for you. That's how you wash silverware in a sink if you're trying to go quick, because it's tedious AF to wash silverware. Washing plates and bowls doesn't take that long at all. Like, just get to the task. Just do it. It takes 10 minutes, maybe, unless you're letting it stack up all week. So that was always what frustrated me the most, and that's how I overcame the tedium of silverware washing. What class will you choose in Elden Ring? I don't know the name of the classes, but when I look at a game like Elden Ring gameplay, like from where I look, I think I want to do sword and board first. I don't want to mess with magic. I know there's tons of Elden Ring magic spells. I know there's tons of different builds and weapon arts, right? If you look at any of the Elden Ring weapon arts videos, there's so much at play, okay? For me, I just want to go sword and board for the full playthrough, right? That's what I want to do, and I want to just go through the whole thing, sword and board, no magic, none of that else, right? And then I'll go back through different playthroughs, do different things. This is not free use as long as you quote the source and react to it. So it's free use isn't the term. You're thinking of the term fair use, okay? Fair use does not apply to materials that were apprehended in a nefarious way, okay? So if someone goes in to see a brand new movie, they go to a special screening, and they sign all these agreements, and then they record it with a camcorder, and they throw it on Reddit, okay? I cannot throw that into a YouTube video and be like, what? It's fair use, right? It's fair use. I don't understand. What's the problem? What's the problem? It's fair use. No, it's not. That's copyrighted material that is protected by agreements of the people that got to see it early. It's protected by distribution contracts. You can't do that, right? You can't do that. No. I don't know what's going on, Creature. I noticed the same thing. It's YouTube acting up again. It's going up and down and up and down. No, it's been steadily up, but there's still something weird going on with YouTube. We were like, we dropped 20 and then gained them all back. We dropped 20 and then gained back 30. It's been really weird this morning. I just think the view count's not accurate. Like, what did you do yesterday? Kept dropping to 1? So fair use does not apply to copyrighted property that was acquired through nefarious means. So when someone says, hey, come play our game early, these are the things you can show, these are the things you can't show. I'll give you an example. I went to the Anthem capture event when Anthem first came out, and there were things they told us we could not capture and we could not distribute, and some dum-dum did it anyway. He took screenshots of the store and leaked them, and then everybody was reporting on it. Now, for all intents and purposes, at that point in time, BioWare could have went to any of those organizations and been like, you need to take that image down. It's copyright protected. We ask people not to distribute those according to NDA. A lot of the times, if it's just an image, they don't bother because it's a waste of frickin' time. It's way easier to distribute images through tweets and retweets and Reddit and 4chan and forums and everywhere else. So a lot of the times an organization will not go after images just because it's like, this is going to be a nightmare to try to squash. Video is entirely different, because video is a greater and more open view of like, hey, this is what the game is going to look like. This is what is going to happen. And generally speaking, that is why they go after them. They're like, hey, get that video down, right? That's copyright protected. We asked people to not do that. So if I would have went to the Anthem capture event and I would have been like, hey, I captured all this stuff they told us not to do. There was an entire mission that they did not want us to capture, right? They're like, don't capture this. If you do capture it because you just want to rewatch it later, you are not allowed to distribute it until the game launches. It was basically under full game embargo, like full game release embargo, right? Now, if I would have been like, whatever, and I would have distributed it anyway, right? I would have put the footage out there anyway, and then other YouTubers started covering it, BioWare would have been well within their right to be like, no, you can't can't have that footage. That guy put that out there and he wasn't supposed to, and they could submit takedown requests on all those videos. Now, usually, they're not going to hit those people with copyright strikes because, you know, they're going to be like, hey, you're not the one that broke the NDA, but they might hit you with a copyright strike. When I first got into YouTubing 7 years ago, there was leaked footage of a game called Rainbow Six Siege. And the gameplay footage leaked, and I did a commentary video on it. I grabbed the footage, and I just did a quick commentary video. I said, hey, let me just give you some of my thoughts on this gameplay footage. I was new to the game. I did not understand that you weren't allowed to do that. I did not understand what kind of a risk I was taking, all right? About a week later, I received a copyright strike, and my channel was like, I couldn't do certain things for like months. They limited the length of videos I could upload. I couldn't upload videos longer than 10 or 15 minutes or something. Nothing could be monetized. There was all kind of restrictions on the channel because I had uploaded content I had no right to. Now, in my personal opinion, I think when somebody does something like what I did, I think what YouTube should do is just do a claim on it. Just take it down. It's gone. Do not do that again. Like, I should have got a warning. Like, hey, if you ever do this again, you're going to get a strike. I think first-time offense should be a warning. That's my personal opinion, but whatever. The video still gets taken down. The copyright owners still get what they want, and then you don't have somebody that like ignorantly completely trashes their channel by mistake. Now, obviously, that was 7 years ago, so the average YouTuber is more educated in the realm of copyright and what you should and should not put out there. The reason we felt comfortable covering the Elden Ring gameplay leaks is because they had been in circulation for 2 weeks. Every gaming news outlet had covered it. Every YouTuber had covered it. I thought, this is fair play. There's nothing out of order here, right? Right? There's nothing out of order here. And right now, there are still videos up. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm not going to take a risk. I'm not. Obviously, we got a little spooked this morning because we thought Allison by Proxy's channel was gone, and we were like, oh my gosh, Allison by Proxy's channel is still monetized, which is why I left ours up. I got spooked by that channel coming down, and I was like, welp. So I deleted the VOD. I was like, I ain't taking any risks. So, sorry, creature. It's one video. We'll be fine. But I was like, I'm not taking a risk. We have a squeaky clean channel over here. We've not done anything like that, and we certainly aren't going to in the future, unless the copyright holders are playing nice with the leaks. Because some companies just don't care. They're like, oh, we don't care. Like, it's just it's a 20-second video, right? The one guy's video that got taken down was 27 seconds long. It was like, what? Who the frick cares about that? It wasn't story. There was no dialogue. There was no narrative elements or audio elements. None of that. And it was just a Crucible Knight fight, you know? The Elden Ring character creator, and it was Elden Ring Crucible Knight gameplay. That's what we had in the video. Creature, does this man ever give you headaches? Yeah, apparently I'm the source of all of his health troubles. That's what he told me yesterday. That's what I needed on my conscience, is that, yeah... We are entertaining some pretty big things and some pretty big decisions, and he's like, dude, you're giving me gray hair. Look, man, it's not, most of it's not my fault. I would say about 80% of what stresses us out are the cards that I've been dealt, right? If you've been dealt a bad hand of cards, you can't blame me for holding them. It's not my fault. Pull a purple and get banned on purpose, right? Why not scum it videos? Listen, Scott, I don't know why so many people, their videos are still up. I don't know why lots of those videos, why 2 people in particular had their videos taken down. I have no idea. I am not about to play chicken with a developer. I'm not Pokimane. I'm not Disguised Toast or XQC. I'm not going to play chicken with copyright law and risk our best performing channel. I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do it. In a month's time, we're not even gonna miss that anymore. Though that leaked footage is irrelevant in a month's time. It's not even a video that's evergreen, so it's not a big deal. Yeah. It's totally fine. Somebody doesn't check their email, that's all. I don't know, though. We didn't get a takedown. We didn't get any takedown requests. I would have immediately... Look, you don't even... If they really come for you, you don't even get, like, a notification. They'll just take the video down. You'll get an email, but that's it. They don't like, let you know, hey, by the way, we're taking this video down or whatever. I don't have any removal requests right now. I have no messages in my channel copyright tab. I have an alert that somebody uploaded a video that is very similar to mine, and it's simply because the Immortals Phoenix Rising cutscenes. That's the only reason why. They have Immortals Phoenix Rising cutscenes, so do I, and that's the end of it. That's me being alerted that somebody might be distributing my work, but it's just a mistake. It's because of the cutscene, that's all. We don't have any evidence that they're coming for people. Yeah, if Allison by Proxy's channel is still up and still monetized, I mean, there's only one way to look at this. The only way to look at this is that they got a request takedown. Hey, can you take that down? And then that's the end of the matter. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection preload started. A PlayStation 5 version of Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Looks like it's a 67 gig install. And that comes out on the 28th, doesn't it? I think. So letting people preload it now. We'll definitely have to check that out. It's entirely possible they sent out requests and some are honoring and others are not, or they haven't seen the request. Man, if you're a YouTuber and you don't get that email, then you got something wrong with your frickin' email, because I would get that email immediately and so would Creature. That would be the end of the matter, right? That'd be the end of the matter. Look up Scummit. I'm not going to look anybody up to prove the fact that the footage is still up. Do you understand what I do? You understand that I report on gaming news and I research something before covering it. You understand that 45 minutes ago when this stream started, I reported on it and indicated there are still plenty of channels that still have the leaked footage up. You understand that, right? Like, you're not enlightening me in any respect. I know that there are people with the footage still up. That doesn't mean anything, brother. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that FromSoftware could run another pass and say, hey, there's a bunch of other people that have the footage up. Go do requests on them to take down the footage, right? We were late to the party. We were weeks late to the party. So, we could have been in line for a request next week. Like, hey, can you take that video down? They may have already sent requests to some of these bigger channels, and they're just being slow to take it down because they like getting the clicks on it. They like getting the subscribers from it. I mean, I think we got like almost 100 subscribers from just that video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, open your eyes, right? You treat this as your job, you're professional about it. Some YouTubers aren't quite like that. The ones who still had the footage up, you could definitely tell it was their profession. Like, it was a professional channel, and it was a big, it was a big deal. Bandai's doing that part, not FromSoftware. Yeah, it might be Bandai Namco. It might not be FromSoftware. The developers usually aren't the ones going out there, doing DMCAs or doing takedown requests. It's usually the publishers. Usually the publishers are the ones. If you're enjoying the coverage, by the way, a lot of people are here Monday through Friday and treat me like video game radio. Be sure to hit subscribe if you're enjoying the channel. Smash the like button. Subscribing's totally free. You can subscribe in confidence. We run a safe for work broadcast, so Monday through Friday, a lot of folks treat me like video game radio. They throw me on in the background. I get them through their day. Would love to meet and see some new subscribers today. Every Friday is From Friday, where we cover FromSoftware topics and dive into a FromSoftware game. And so this afternoon we'll be diving back into Sekiro, and I will be attempting to beat the Owl Boss. If we beat him quick enough, we'll leave that VOD as just that, if it's like an hour to an hour and a half or something, and we may continue some gameplay in God of War. If not, we have a huge announcement over on our other channel today, SNTR Presents, so make sure you're around for that this afternoon. And then this evening, Hilly and I will be playing Nobody Saves the World. So tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, make sure you're back here with your drinks and your laughs for a good time with us. Game plan the weekend or something. Like any of these? Not liking any of these. What do you? You're speaking in broken sentences. I don't know what you're talking about. This brings me pain to see. January 21st. Yeah, today was the original launch date of Elden Ring. Yeah, today was the original launch date of Elden Ring, January 21st of 2022. Nice pumpkins tea, thank you. ETA for the announcement. It'll be a 3 o'clock upload on that channel, same way we do all the time. Why isn't anybody saying anything about Scum? All right, I've officially decided that you're annoying, so you're gone. I can't stand when someone's in my chat and apparently has me on mute and they're just here to drive their messaging and they ignore the streamer, so you can leave. I got devs mad at me for streaming their game after they removed the NDA. They did not request to remove the footage though. What do you mean they removed the NDA? A non-disclosure agreement doesn't leave, but it ends, usually. There's an embargo. So, like, you agree, hey, I won't put this footage up for 2 months. And then 2 months later, you put it up. So, how do they remove an NDA? You know what I'm saying? Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I still think that all these leaks of new games are nothing more than free advertising. Well, there's a big difference between a leak that gets people hyped and a leak of somebody who got into the game through nefarious means and went out of bounds and recorded footage of some boss fight, right? There's a giant difference between the two. They're not one and the same. So if you're gonna leak, a poster or like half of a trailer or a leaked release date or something, and everybody starts losing their minds, right? Then I would think that they would likely just accept that, like the poster got leaked, the release date got leaked, everybody's really excited. That's not the same as somebody going into a game through nefarious means and being like, hey, we're going to show you this cool boss over here or whatever. Like the people that use the jailbroken PlayStation 4 to get into like the entire game of Elden Ring and they leaked all the audio files and story. That is not something that the developers or the publishers want to have happen, right? I don't know. That is not something. That is not something that you're gonna see companies celebrate. You're also not gonna see companies orchestrate that. Like, hey, yeah, let's orchestrate the distribution of our actual story, audio files, architecture, and everything else. Like, that's not something that companies want to see. It simply isn't. More than likely, that is not something that they are doing. With respect to like the planned leaks are usually very well orchestrated, very thought out. They're very minimal. It's like there's like a minimal amount of stuff that you get. It's like a release date or it's like I don't know. It's typically something very minor. They don't let like the entire dadgum game out from underneath their watch. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that these companies typically want to see happen. So we need to be careful that we don't overstate what is potentially going on when these types of things happen. So there are people who are finding us today looking for Elden Ring, or looking for spoilers and different things like that. Basically what we're covering is there were Elden Ring gameplay leaks that were taken down, but not all. So if you're looking for some of those Elden Ring gameplay leaks, they are still out there. They are still viewable. If you want to see like the character creator or the Crucible Knight footage, we have removed our coverage of it just in case we didn't know what was going on in particular. We didn't know if Bandai was going after people. Some of the people that did it were like, hey, they didn't even say anything. The footage just disappeared, but their channels are still monetized. So we don't think they're really swinging really hard at people. Is this stream spoiler free? Yeah, we don't cover spoilers here. Like when we covered the fact that like the entire Elden Ring story got leaked or whatever, I didn't put any spoilers in my content. When the entire Horizon Forbidden West game got leaked, I didn't do any spoilers, right? If I'm ever going to put footage on the screen, I'll tell you. I'm like, hey, if you don't want to see this, I'm about to show some footage or whatever. You'd be darn sure that the company will never work with you again. Yeah, that's for sure. If you break their NDA and just do it anyway. Why don't you email Bandai for an early review copy of Elden Ring? Do you think you could be selected? I could probably reach out now and be like, hey, our channel is on a growth pattern. We got 10K subs. I do this thing every Friday called From Friday. Look at my Elden Ring coverage. Look at when I covered when your live gameplay reveal happened. Like, look at all that. You working with me would be, not necessarily beneficial for you, but it would just be good. We got a lot of your fans in the audience that really enjoy your games. If they remove the leaks and stuff, because when the game comes out, the leak stuff is going to make the actual game look really bad. No, I don't think that's it at all. No. That is that's an amusing theory, but here's why your theory is wrong for about 5 different reasons. Number one, there is a ton of content already out there from the technical test that shows how beautiful the game is. So incorrect at that level. Second, the footage was actually very low quality. The one guy's footage was awful. It was like 720. It looked grainy and terrible. It did not look very good. Number 3, the one footage that the person got, they got in the same technical test that everybody else was allowed to play and capture footage. It's not like they wandered into some area where the graphics were 1,000 times better and they were like, oh no, please don't let that footage out. Number 4, a leak that is typically designed to like what the character creator leak. The character creator leak just literally showed like graphical fidelity with respect to like facial skin and hair. Like there was nothing in that was that like monumentally groundbreaking. I don't think there's a single person that's going to be like, oh man, I saw footage of Elden Ring's character creator, or I saw Elden Ring gameplay Crucible Knight footage, and boy oh boy, that it better look that good, and then the game comes out and doesn't look that good. I mean, it's with respect, what you're saying is absolutely ludicrous. To posture that they were like, oh, these leaks, when the game comes out, the leaks are going to make the game look bad. You either didn't watch the leaks, or you're on the whole, the graphics aren't good, brigade of people who are hating on a game that's not out yet. We had some of those people in chat yesterday saying that Horizon Forbidden West didn't look next gen. So I generally think that comments like that aren't driven by, a real objective standpoint or a viewpoint. It's just that you have like a cynical theory about the game or something. I don't know. The leaks were not that impressive. It sounds like maybe you didn't watch them. They were pretty basic. The leak is mostly from an early build. Yeah. I meant like when the actual game comes out, there's going to be a lot of content that isn't shown in the videos we have now. I'm not understanding your point. You made it sound like once the leaks come out, it would make the actual game look bad. I don't know what you mean by that. How would the leaks of a Crucible Knight fight make the actual game look bad when it comes out? These were old builds. They didn't look that amazing. They were out of bounds. The one guy's video, it looked kind of glitchy because they had to like go off the side of some wall. It didn't look good at all. Again, I don't understand your reasoning. It's not making sense. I usually go with not to pre-order, but this time I broke that rule. I break it. I will pre-order Elden Ring, the only game I will do so. Then you have to toe down the Rage on From Friday if you start working with them. Oh no, I don't think so. Have you watched any of the people that stream these games? What, you think people that stream FromSoftware games what do they sit there and sip tea and stay calm? That's part of the brand. People would watch the wrong videos, get the wrong idea of what the game is about, and then the actual game has so much more content. I'm not talking about the graphics in any way. I'm not catching what you're saying, because you originally said it would make the actual game look bad. Do you mean retroactively someone would see the leak and the leak would make the actual game look bad? Is that what you meant? They're cussing and raging constantly? Yeah, usually the people that play those types of games, that's what they do. I guarantee you that if a FromSoftware developer watched me play any of those games, they would grin ear to ear, laugh, and eat popcorn. They would love it. They'd be like, oh, this guy's losing his frickin' mind. This is amazing. Oh, he called that mechanic cheap? Yeah, well, deal with it, sucker. Like, they would love it. They would absolutely love it. Man versus game blows up, shouts, screams way more than Lono. Yeah. I'm actually pretty tame by comparison. I'm actually one of the more tame FromSoftware people you could probably watch. Number one, I swear almost not at all. I think I've sworn maybe 3 or 4 times in the 12 and 9 and the 20-something episodes of From Friday that we've done. I think I've sworn like 3 times. So, newer footage will show the best that the game has to offer, whereas old footage is missing bits and may not have finished mechanics. Now I understand your point. That's a reasonable position. I was like, what are you talking about? I get what you're saying. So what you're saying is the game will come out, be more complete, and be more polished, and they don't want unpolished, out-of-bounds technical test footage out there circulating because it'll make the actual game look bad. Now I get what you're saying, and what you're saying is sensible. It is. I think that's not the primary element, but it is an element of what's going on. The expletives and incentive I screamed at the few Kana bosses. I don't think I should play any Souls games, let's just say that. Yeah, they will take you there. They will certainly take you there. Oh, you killed me, mate. Cheerio, love. Let me try again. That doesn't sound like a fun playthrough session. The coffee's to be delivered today. Looking forward to it. Hey, thanks for ordering some. We've had 1 coffee order for today. Anybody else wanting to snag some? People in chat will tell you how delicious it is. If you're a coffee drinker, they will convince you. I'll warn you right now not to buy it, because if you buy it, you'll have a hard time drinking other coffee. Like, the light roast is very drinkable. Here, I actually have some bags down here now. It's extremely drinkable. So one of the main reasons it's so drinkable is the balanced acidity. So our base flavor, our original flavor, we have a light and a dark roast. Both of them have the balanced acidity. And then we do have the holiday blend that's getting low on quantity, and once it's gone, it's gone. So use the coffee command or go to ragelessroast.com, and we appreciate the support so much of the coffee. I always laugh at you freaking out. All I'd be thinking is, you think this boss is bad, wait till you see. That's one of the worst parts about streaming a FromSoftware game. I hope you guys realize that, right? I beat a boss, and I feel so much satisfaction from it, and you little douches in the chat are like, oh, you have no idea what's waiting for you, Lono. That guy was nothing. I'm like, frick you, man. Let me enjoy the victory for like 10 seconds. Somebody always has to do that. I'm like, yeah, you thought that was tough. Just wait. You thought Madam Butterfly was tough? Okay, fine, bud. Wait till you fight the Headless Ape. I fight the Headless Ape. Yeah, Headless Ape ain't much. Wait till you have to fight 2 of them. I beat 2 of them. Yeah, both apes at the same time's not that big of a deal. Wait till you gotta fight the owl. Then I'm gonna beat the owl, and you're gonna be like, oh, just you wait. There's an 18-headed dragon at the end of the game that's gonna insult your family and eat your feet. So just wait till you get there. Like, frick you. Greyhound with $5 tip. The amount of people that are staking the claim that all these new next-gen games don't look next-gen when it's just not what they want it to look like. No, I think they're idiots, Greyhound. I think you give them too much credit. I think the people that watch the Horizon Forbidden West footage and say that it doesn't look next-gen, I don't give them a whole lot of charitable treatment like, oh, it's just not what they want it to look like. No, they're idiots. That's the problem. They truly are. They're video game Karens on full steam ahead, like just cynicism and entitlement on levels that are so far up in the stratosphere that they're not even on planet Earth. I think they're dumb people. I'm being serious, by the way. He doesn't like when people disagree with him, he insults them. No, I save insults for the people that deserve it, and the people that are watching these brilliantly crafted games and graphics and trailers like, well, I don't think it looks next gen. Yeah, well, you're an idiot. Like, shut the frick up and go somewhere else. Like, let us enjoy this next generation of gaming. Like, I don't know, go play checkers or something. Go out, go touch grass, you know? Like, get out of here. We don't want to have to listen to you. Well, I just don't think there's enough detail on her neck. Yeah, well, there's not enough detail in your brain, so go away. Get out of here. My man Julio coming in with a brand... Well, I'm sorry, that's not brand new. That's a renewal. Welcome back, Julio. Thank you so much. Hey, if you guys want to support the stream directly, it's free to subscribe, and then you won't miss my From Fridays every Friday. is a From Friday. And we cover Elden Ring in the morning. You're going to get to watch me rage out on Sekiro this afternoon. Okay, so make sure you're subscribed. Smash that subscribe button. Help us hit a new subscriber milestone. You want to support directly, you can hit the $sign at the bottom of chat. You can send a tip. You can become a paying member. We had an amazing member train the other day. We're inching toward, I really would want to see 500 members on the channel. You got to get in there. You got to get in the Discord too. Our Discord's got a great place for you to hang out and talk games, connect with people to play games. There's a whole lot of content hitting in there for little updates and things that you might be missing on our other channels. The amazing Lucas crying because God of War came out for PC. Oh, he cried? Really? I thought you were talking about me for a second. I was like, excuse me? This generation isn't about graphics, it's about performance. 60 FPS is the standard now. But it is about graphics. It is. Compare the games, man. Compare Zero Dawn to Forbidden West. They don't look the same. They don't. I don't know. Madam Butterfly didn't let you enjoy the victory. Wait, why didn't Madam Butterfly let me enjoy the victory? I don't understand. So is it on Fridays? What do you mean? From Fridays? Is that on Fridays? Yeah. Sometimes we cover FromSoftware throughout the week just because the story breaks and we got to cover it. He didn't actually cry, but he came very close. I mean, God of War is a beautiful game. I'll be honest with you guys. You're very lucky to get Sekiro from me today. You're lucky. Count yourselves lucky. I better get some appreciation and some support this afternoon because I really wanted to play more God of War, dadgummit. But I'm going to go in and suffer and fight this big, dumb, ogre, hairy, long-haired, lion-looking, owl-cheating, shinobi son of a gun. I'm going to do that for you. For you. So I better get some appreciation this afternoon because I would much rather play, I would much rather play that than Sekiro this afternoon. You're lucky. You better say thank you. You better say thank you. Would Lono play a 30 FPS game that looks amazing? No. No, you're flipping the argument on its head. I've never said that. No. No. I didn't say anything close to that. No. The graphical updates that Forbidden West sees compared to Zero Dawn is measurable. It's palpable. You can look at the dadgum trailer. But if they did that and said, oh, by the way, it'll be 30 FPS, I'd be like, no. I would smack. Oh, no. Don't do that. No. No, sir, don't you dare do that. There are games right now I could play on my PlayStation 5 and get, like, ray tracing, tickle my eyeballs, like, make me feel like a true gamer, but it's 30 FPS. And you know what I do? I don't turn that crap on. But the light will twinkle and dance off of the leaves. Yeah, shut up. I don't want that. I don't want 30 FPS. It's a freaking slideshow. You know what I mean? I guess I might turn it on for a screenshot, but getting the heck out of here. I don't care about graphical fidelity if I'm playing something at 30 FPS. If you can't give me 60, then get out of my box, right? Get out of here. Whatever the box is, whether it's my rig, my PlayStation, or my Xbox. You don't get installed if you can't give me 60 frames per second. That's not elitism. That's not elitism at all. That would be like saying, I'm not going to watch your program, Snyder cut, if it's 4:3. Freaking garbage. I'm not going to do it. No. Why would I do that? Hey, we got this great new show coming to Netflix. It's going to be amazing. We really upped the resolution and the lighting and this and that and the other. And it's a 4:3 ratio. I'm not watching your stupid show. What are you talking about? I got a TV that could put a rocket into space that looks like it was made by Tibetan monks from the future. Why would I watch your show with a square on my big giant rectangle? No. You're depriving yourself of the amazing experience of Bloodborne? No, I'm depriving myself of daily headaches from playing a 30 FPS game. I played God of War and Spider-Man at 30 FPS, and I loved them, and I ended every stream with a headache, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, why does my head hurt? Like, right in here. right in here around my eyes and my temples. Why? Because my eyes were straining for 3 hours watching a freaking flip book of a game. No. I watched the Snyder Cut begrudgingly because I didn't know it wasn't even that good. I still don't know why everybody lost their freaking shirts over it. Oh gosh, it's so great. No, it's not. You ate a poop sandwich and then somebody hands you a burnt cheeseburger and you thought it tasted better because you just ate a poop sandwich. That's why you thought the Snyder Cut was so amazing. The Snyder Cut wasn't so amazing. It was a burnt cheeseburger after eating a poop sandwich. That's why you thought it was so amazing. It was mediocre at best. There wasn't anything spectacular about it at all. All they did was more softly crap on a great Superman and a great Wonder Woman. They just did it a little bit more lightly than they did in the original Justice League movie. Get those out of here. Delete them from existence. Just go back and pretend they didn't happen. All we need is the Wonder Woman origin movie and Man of Steel origin movie, and you can let Aquaman sneak in, even though that woman who pooped on a bedroom, like on some guy's bed, is in there, whatever her name is. She's in the movie, which I guess makes it not worth watching. But just act like all these other movies didn't happen. The one where Wonder Woman sleeps with some guy through somebody else's body, that's not disgusting or weird. And then the one where Batman and Superman fight and connect over Martha, forget that. We don't need that stupid movie, and we certainly don't need the poop sandwich that is Justice League or Snyder's burnt cheeseburger. We don't need any of it. You had great starting movies, and then, I don't know, everybody put blindfolds on and tried to make movies, and they failed miserably. And it's irritating, because I really like Superman. Stupid. Slow-mo out of focus shots galore. Yeah, Snyder's like, I got an idea. Let's make the movie twice as long. How you gonna do that? Slow-mo, my man. Slow-mo. The frick? Oh. Shazam was actually pretty good. This rant is magic. Oh, I get so annoyed. When people talk about the DC movies. It's like, just admit it. Admit it to yourself. You'll feel better in the morning. It'll be liberating, like a weight off your chest. The second Wonder Woman is a pile of garbage, and Justice League is irredeemable. I don't care. I don't care how cool you think Snyder's cut is. It's an irredeemable pile of trash. They ruined some of the best casting choices ever. Like, you have Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill and Jason Momoa. What the frick are you doing? Literally 3 of the best looking people on planet Earth right now, like gods among us, walking the earth, beautiful. And in 20 years, they're probably not going to look like that anymore. You've missed your window. You missed it. It's so frustrating. They're all so beautiful. And I want to snuggle every single one of them, and that's not really the point. The point is that they took some of the best casting choices ever. Imagine if they would have done that in the MCU. Imagine. We are way off subject. It's my fault. I did this. I'm sorry. It's so frustrating. So Elden Ring, these gameplay leaks got removed, and auto chapters this creature. They were like, what the frick happened in this stream? What happened? An hour and 11 minutes of Elden Ring gameplay leaks. And then all of a sudden, he's talking about Superman. What the frick is the matter with this guy? Hurry, someone ask about Skooma. Skooma? Skoomat? Scumma. Scum. Scumbag. That's it. That was the guy's name. It was Scumbag. Lono is just showing an early look at the rage. That's right. So anyways, the other day I was thinking to myself, Elden Ring leaks. That's clearly got nothing to do with the DC movie, but I'm going to make a connection. Just you wait. Give me a second here. Oh, I remember what we were talking about. 30 FPS. Yeah, and I went on a rant about the Snyder cut. Burnt cheeseburger. Burnt cheeseburger. Jiminy freaking Christmas. But yeah, I won't play Bloodborne. But it's whoever brought up Bloodborne in 30 FPS, this is your fault. What just transpired is your fault. Anyway, what leaks were hit? I'm searching right now, and if you sort by recently upload, still a ton. Okay, yeah, Elden Lord, good to see you. So what happened was, the two channels, funny enough, this is so bizarre, the two channels that we used for our Elden Ring leak video, both their videos are gone. And the one guy just re-uploaded them anyway. I'm like, okay, bud. He doesn't care. His channel is not monetized. It's not partnered. It's not anything. He just keeps uploading them, right? And so, but Allison by proxy took hers down. And they were the two channels that we use, which is super weird. I wonder if we're the reason. Like, that's so weird and so coincidental. I wonder if our VOD was totally safe, but because it got so many views, it was probably trending. And then because it was trending, somebody from Bandai was like, what the frick? They're like, well, this guy's just reporting on it. I did throughout the whole video. I was like, oh, if you want to support this video, go to Allison by Proxy's channel. And they're like, we will. We will go and look at Allison by Proxy's channel, and we will submit a request for takedown. They might have done that. We might have gotten, like, a pass because we were covering it, not the source of it. I wonder if that's what happened. Because it's very interesting that the only two channels that these videos disappeared on were literally the two channels that I used in our 16,000 viewed VOD. It was like our third most viewed video on the channel. I was like, huh? Like, why? I wouldn't be surprised if we're the cause of it. They were like, hey, get those people. What are they doing? And then they gave me a pass, which, thank you. Thank you, Bandai and From, if that's actually what happened, if they gave me a pass because I was reporting on it and not the source of it. I mean, that seems kind of counterproductive, though, to be like, you know what I mean? Like, take theirs down but leave mine up. You know what I mean? I didn't see the Dragon Magic leak, and I'm not going to show it because I don't want to take down another VOD. So now we get to easily fast roll while wielding giant clubs and swords. Strength builds are going to be fire. Strength is now also increasing equip load. Oh, yes. Yes. Just strength, sword, and board. Whew, whew. Lono making YouTube friends. Tune in every day to my gaming channel. I'll show you videos often. Get them taken down. Enjoy the free publicity. Now, isn't that something? Isn't that something to, like, cover their leaks get taken down, and then my videos started soaring? I wouldn't be surprised if that's why the video kept doing really, really well, because people were looking for their videos, couldn't find them, and found mine. Talk about taking out the competition. Who needs to wait 2 years to write a twit longer and embellish stories? Just show their videos and get them taken down, and then take their place in the algorithm. This is brilliant. We're going to be the biggest YouTuber by the end of this year. I'll just systematically take out the competition by showing their content. It's absolutely brilliant. It's unbeatable. You can't beat our strategy. I gotta stop looking at stuff? Yeah, dude, quit looking at the leaks. In my opinion, there's nothing more satisfying than carrying around a giant club or sword and crapping on everything. I'm not connecting. Why are you taking a dump on everything? You know, there's bathrooms for that, Eugene. Eugene's like, there's nothing more satisfying than carrying around a giant club or sword. And also, I like to take dumps on everything. Just read it literally. Like, Eugene, you have very strange behavior in your life, but hey, you know, I'm not going to judge. Just don't do it around me. And who says YouTube is hard? 2 years later, he got another video taken down. Get him. That's right. It's going to be really funny in 2 years when, like, they suddenly realize, they're like, wait a minute. He has like 4 and 5 channels over there. They're all doing really well. What do we do now? It was a lot easier. It was a lot easier in 2020. What are we supposed to do now to take out somebody who's more successful and talented than we are? What are we going to do? What are we going to come up with this time? Good luck. What other channel? That's right. What other channel? I ain't got no channel. Oil? Who's talking about oil? Are you cooking? Oil? Who's talking about oil? Are you cooking? I still don't get some people that ask for easy mode in Elden Ring. It's like asking a horror game to remove their features, which is horror. Yami, you know what's funny about this is we've actually had that debate here quite often, and you know what my biggest concern is? It hasn't happened yet, but I made a prediction. I'm prone to do that here. Hey, if you're new and haven't hit subscribe yet, do that and take our poll at the top of the chat. We about 500 votes after an hour is pretty typical for us. 500 votes on the poll. Elden Ring leaked gameplay takedowns. What would you do if it were up to you? The Elden Ring gameplay leaks. Would you take them down or would you leave them up? The audience is kind of split 60-40. Hit subscribe. That way you can talk in my chat. Smash that like button. And we're almost at 200 likes on the video. So the easy mode debate. My prediction, so I made a prediction. I said this is going to happen and we need to be on guard for when this happens because it's going to be sinister. It's going to be sinister when they do it and we need to be on guard for it. This is my prediction. This is what I think is going to happen. And I think it's an insult to the people that they claim they're standing up for. My prediction in the weeks leading up to or in the weeks after Elden Ring launches, a narrative will start. And that narrative will center around the word accessibility. They will argue for increased accessibility in Elden Ring, and when they use the word accessibility, they will be talking about people who are impaired in some form or another. There are folks who are motor function impaired, and they need that really amazing Microsoft controller to enable them to play video games. And accessibility in that realm is to be celebrated, but it is not an imperative on every developer to create accessibility options. Not every game is going to work for that. Not every game is going to allow every person to play it. However, this is my prediction. My prediction is that they will use accessibility to smuggle in, like they'll smuggle in easy mode. That's what they will do. They will simply say, this will make your game more accessible to impaired persons, which is an insanely gross insult to those people. I'm already smacking the argument down and already framing it this way, so nobody attempts it. And if they do, I'm going to tell them how dumb they are. Accessibility has nothing to do with easy mode. Do not conflate the two. Accessibility is about making your game accessible to all persons if possible. It has nothing to do with the difficulty of the game. The difficulty of the game is in another category. If you felt that a game was too difficult, even with the accessibility features or whatever, and you felt it's still too difficult, that is not a judgment of the accessibility of the game. It is a judgment of the difficulty of the game, and they are not the same. And I am telling you right now, there are going to be arguments that attempt to conflate the two and smuggle it in and say, well, under the movement and the guise and the importance of accessibility, we really think FromSoftware should consider putting in an easy mode. Pull the brake. No, that is not the same. If you want to add accessibility features to your game so somebody who is motor function impaired is able to play your game, that is noble. That is not a requirement. However, your impairment does not create an imperative on every developer in existence. I've made an example of this before. My daughter has an egg allergy. We would love if regulations were a little bit better about stipulating the ingredients on something so that we can have confidence in the consumption of it. But what we don't do is we don't take my daughter's impairment and we don't create an imperative that states every single restaurant in existence should offer egg-free, food prep, egg-free grills, egg-free cooking stations, so that she can have food prepared for her and we can be confident in her being able to consume it. Why? Because that imperative from her impairment would create undue harm and strain on that business. That business cannot accommodate every single allergy that is out there. They can simply inform you what's in it and how the food's prepped and how there is what is called cross-contamination so that you could avoid the food so that you don't die, right? It's the same thing in video games. If you have some form of an impairment, okay, that doesn't create an imperative on every developer to somehow find a way to create accessibility to meet and satisfy or help you in your impairment. That imperative simply does not exist. There's no ought or ought not. That's what an imperative is, right? An imperative is you ought to do this or you ought not to do this, right? And so lots of game companies are certainly taking the noble effort and have the noble goal of doing this to their games, of adding accessibility features and making them more accessible to people who might be colorblind or people who may have motor function impairments or other movement or motion related impairments that makes it difficult for them to use a traditional controller or mouse and keyboard. And that's totally noble and great, but that has absolutely nothing to do with easy mode in FromSoftware games. So be on guard for it. It's an insult. If there is an individual who has the controller and the means to play Elden Ring and they are motor function impaired, it's an insult to that person to say you should make the game easier for them. It's disrespectful. That is not what they have ever asked for in any of the literature that I've read and any of the charity drives I've seen. None of these people are asking for that. They are asking for inroads to play the same games that everybody else has played. They don't want some easy version for them as if they're less than or less skilled than you. That's not it at all. Their impairment doesn't mean they're less skilled. Their impairment means they face a challenge of accessibility. That is it. A lot of the times they're probably just as good, if not better, because they have to rise to the occasion, and then it tends to make their reflexes and their awareness and their observation skills significantly more attuned and sharp. I have good raw ability when I play these games, and it makes me stubborn and stupid, and I don't observe, and I end up making dumb mistakes and repeating those dumb mistakes. Why? My observation skills aren't as sharply attuned. Why? Because I have pure raw skill. I've been playing video games with a controller since I could hold one. So that innate raw ability that's been there since, I don't know, since the first time I touched a Nintendo, it makes me stupid. It does. It makes my observation skills less sharp. You guys know, you've seen me play. I'm dumb. I get stubborn. If an easy mode means that somebody who literally cannot play a game that requires lightning fast reflexes to access a game they'd enjoy, I'm 100% for it. There are no FromSoftware games that would be defined as requiring lightning fast reflexes. That's not a thing in FromSoftware games. Most of the boss fights and the battles are merely a matter of observing patterns and responding to those patterns. The windows of damage mitigation are not. I don't think any of them would be described as lightning fast reflexes. Do you think FromSoftware is already aware of this argument? Have they had to address this for Dark Souls games in the past? I wonder if they'd ever entertain the accessibility argument. I don't think that they would. I would hope that people would have the intelligence to see that, like what Dragon's saying, is accessibility is not changing gameplay. It's not. It's like colorblind or how a controller works. It's nothing about gameplay. That's exactly right. It's a categorical misappropriation. It is. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I understand. If there's something I understand, it's how really dumb gaming journalists will argue. I get it. I totally get it. They are so quick to jump on hashtags and cultural trends, and a lot of them are just no, I understand. I do, and I'm telling you right now, that argument is already brewing somewhere, and I'm ready to shred it limb from limb. Thomas thinks Elden Ring leave up the gameplay. Yeah, so we're asking people at the top of the chat with a poll, the Elden Ring gameplay leak that we covered, the leak of the character creator and then the Crucible Knight gameplay that has been taken down on the channels that we covered. For some reason, we avoided a takedown request, but we took the video down anyway just to be on the up and up. And we're asking the question, if you were in charge, would you leave them up or take them down? What about impairments that mean you don't have the physical ability to play the game for hours in order to obtain the level of skill required to play? Well, then the game's not built for you. You see what I'm saying? Like if right now there is not technology that would allow somebody without arms to pilot a jet, right? If some guy is born without arms or loses his arms in an accident, there is no technology right now that it would allow him to fly a jet safely. Doesn't exist. So you would say, I'm sorry, you cannot be a pilot in the Air Force. You can't do it. It's not designed for you. The colorblind instrumentation problems that they have in aircraft. If you're colorblind, right now, as far as I know, you cannot be a pilot because it would put you and other people in danger, right? But there's other reasons beyond that. It's just like, no, we have standards for a reason. So, similar fashion, right? Similar fashion. If you lack the ability to do what the game requires, then you can't play the game. That's not a matter of skill. It's a matter of accessibility, I would imagine. Like, I'm not quite sure I understand what you're saying. You don't have the physical ability to play the game for hours in order to obtain the skill level required to play. Why do you have to play the game for hours in order to obtain the skills? So you're indicating that somebody can't sit for long periods of time. Maybe they have Crohn's or something. I don't know. So if they lack the ability to sit for long periods of time, why does that mean they can't acquire the skills necessary? They could practice in smaller spurts, could they not? They could watch guide videos to acquire knowledge, to apply. There's other things they could do. The game doesn't have to suddenly make itself easier because you lack the ability to sit for long periods of time. If the game doesn't accommodate that at the start, you'd have to make do or don't. It's a tough reality, but it's your reality that we got to live in. Well, that's what I mean. Your impairment doesn't create an imperative. It doesn't. If you have an impairment of some kind, it does not create an imperative. My daughter's egg allergy does not create an imperative that we can go to every restaurant and demand complete capitulation. Like your cooks and your prep areas need to be completely sanitized so no cross-contamination can happen. You need to have egg-free zones for cooking and baking and preparing. They can't frickin' do that. Imagine me going to Wild Eggs, the breakfast restaurant, and saying that. It would be ludicrous. You need to make allotments for me in my impairment. The frick? No, we don't. We simply do not have to. You don't get to create impairments out of thin air. Oh, impairments. Imperatives. You don't get to create imperatives out of thin air. As for easy mode, as a laid-back casual gamer, it is too hard. If it's too hard, I would stop playing. It just would not be the same game for me. Can we talk about Lord of the Rings and Elden Ring? We are talking about Elden Ring. Don't jump in the chat and immediately demand we talk about what you want to talk about. That's not going to happen, and it's like low-key obnoxious. But like, if the team wanted to do it, why would that be bad? I don't care if the team wants to do it. I don't care if the team wants to do it. It's their property. It's their game. If the makers of a game, right? If FromSoftware suddenly decided that they wanted to create an easy mode, I'm gonna tell you right now, it wouldn't be a good idea. It wouldn't. It would be a dilution of their game's identity and their brand's identity, and it would really, really hurt them from a business standpoint. But I'm not going to tell them that they can't. or that it's wrong or bad. I'm not going to assign a moral judgment to it. I'm going to say, from a business perspective, this seems awfully stupid. Like, this seems awfully stupid from a business perspective. You guys are well established in the industry. You are one of the only developers like this. There's very, very few. Very, very few. And you're going to dilute that identity to make an easy mode? Unfortunately, someday it's possible they might. I don't think so. They've sold just fine without it. You're forgetting that these games are incredibly popular all across the globe, and almost nobody that buys these games shares that sentiment. And the new fans and the converts, they don't share that sentiment either. Like, oh yeah, easy mode. No. There's no reason for them to do that. They have well established their brand. Their commercial success is not in doubt. They are not niche at all. We've addressed this as well. Is difficulty really a feature, though? How is it not a feature? Wouldn't an easy mode be a feature as much as difficulty would be? Like, logically speaking, if you go to a game like, you know, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and they have all those difficulty options, easy, story mode, and the rest, you would call those features, would you not? A game that is brutally hard and offers none of those, that's a feature. According to the same logic that we would assign that definition to any other game. Dragon K8 with a brand new membership. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. You are dope and deserve dope stuff. Hey guys, Dragon Kate. Oh, it's Dragon Kate. Is your name Kate? I like it. Dragon Kate just started a member train, so hop on, and if you don't, it's an insult to Dragon Kate. So I don't make the rules. I would really hope you guys would honor Dragon Kate with more members. I'm kidding. I tried to keep it going. I tried. People literally think that beating these games make them special. Oh, it's K8? Oh, it is K8. Dragon K8. Well, I'm sorry, Kate, but that's just the way it works. That's your name now. Ask Eugene about that one. Psychologically, I love the concept of a set difficulty. It erases the potential to dial the game back because you hit a wall. FromSoftware games ask you to take on the challenges that they've worked so hard on. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The difficulty is crafted into the games based on a singular balancing scale. There isn't difficulty modes. You either beat stuff or get better gear and learn mechanics, or you don't. Right. Right. Train is here. Good to see you, Train. One person membership, Train. Let's go. What? Oh, stop. Stop. What is in the water this morning? She gets an appliance and now she's all frisky. I know the way to my wife's heart. Okay.
Nate, I bought it. I scheduled for it to be installed.
You bought it?
Would you like to give me for taking?
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. It was a joke. It's a joke. What? We're getting a fridge next, so I'm just kidding. We probably are, though. It's probably actually gonna break soon. It's old. All the appliances in the house are old. It was yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, to use your allergy example, if there's a pie eating contest and your daughter can't compete because the pie contains eggs, does that mean that the winner was better at eating pie? Holy moly, how many false equivalencies can you jam into one analogy? No! In that example, homie, you're talking about a barrier that has nothing to do with eating the pie. The egg allergy would be a barrier that would mean she can't even attempt to eat the pie. That's not what difficulty settings are in a game. Difficulty settings are not a barrier that prevents you from even touching the game. Like, she can't eat the pie if there's eggs in it. She can't. She'd die, right? You can play the game even if it's hard. It's not like you're going to get electrocuted like, I'm dead because I tried to play a FromSoftware game. That's not an equivalency at all. The barrier for you beating a FromSoftware game is you. Can you do it? Can you psychologically overcome the irritation, the tedium, the frustration, the setbacks, the resets? Can you do it? It's you. There's no arbitrary barrier keeping you from competing and playing in a FromSoftware game, as an egg would prevent my daughter from eating the pie. It's a preventative thing. She simply cannot. They could bake her one without the eggs, and then she could compete, because that's an arbitrary barrier. There's no barrier keeping you from playing Dark Souls right now. You are the only reason that you're not playing it or beating it. Nobody else. It's not like there's some bully in your way, like, no, can't play, bud. You can play it right now. You can. Look at me. Look at me. Never touched a FromSoftware game. Never thought I would. Thought, no way. I'm not cut that way. And I beat Dark Souls 3, and I'm working my way through Sekiro. The only barrier keeping me from doing it was myself. I refused to try. I didn't want to. I didn't feel like they were games that were made for me. And to a certain extent, back then they weren't. They would have broken me. What?
Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. I can't remember anything else Kristen Wiig said in that skit. I said, look at me, and my wife remembered that skit with Kristen Wiig. I remember when I was on the stage. Look at me. The barrier is your mental fortitude and desire. The games aren't that hard, but they're severely punishing. Oh, they severely punish failure. You're either capable or willing to push through it or not. Don't conflate ability with willingness. That's exactly right. Yeah. Even after 400 hours of gameplay of Dark Souls, it's still somewhat challenging. It's like trying to put an easy mode on a Rubik's Cube. Either learn how to solve it or it just stays mixed up. Can you overcome the tedium, the frustration, etc.? But if you have a disability that prevents you from playing through it, even doesn't literally kill you, then you're really low skill. See, again, you're ready. You're in disguise. You're going to write the article. You probably write for Forbes or something. You're getting ready to conflate the categories. You're already trying to do it. I can smell it. I can smell it on your breath. That's what you're doing. You're conflating. Your disability is not what's preventing you from beating it. There is no disability that prevents you from overcoming tedium and frustration. That's not a thing. There's no motor function disability or lack of digits on your hand or lack of an arm that is like, yeah, this person can't overcome tedium and frustration. What the frick? What an insult to that person. That's not true. I don't think they would appreciate you speaking about them in that way at all. Just because I don't have an arm doesn't mean I can't overcome tedium and frustration. Just trying to understand the mindset. Yeah, because you're going to write the article. Of course you're trying to understand the mindset. Of course you are. You probably already have it drafted up for the week before Elden Ring comes out. Listen, there is an enormous difference between an actual impairment that prevents a person from being able to press the buttons on the controller, which is what the accessibility controllers are designed to help with. That has nothing to do with overcoming tedium and frustration or practicing to get better. They're not related. They're related in this way. They're going to have to work a little bit harder because it's a little bit more challenging for them to press the buttons or whatever. But that's not related to their mental ability to become skilled enough, patient enough, enduring enough to beat it. You are taking their physical impairment and you're attaching it to their psychology, which they would find grossly insulting. That they can't overcome tedium and frustration because they don't have a hand or something. If somebody lost their hand in the war or something and they use the accessibility controls, if you were to say, oh yeah, it's going to be hard for them because of their disability to overcome the tedium and frustration, that's insulting. You're taking their physical reality and you're trying to attach it to mental limitations, and that is not how it works. And they would tell you a lot stronger than I probably am that is not a charitable way to talk about it. That is a presumptive and condescending way to talk about it, as if somebody who lacks a hand is somehow less mentally capable to overcome frustration and tedium. Greyhound with a $5 tip. If Guy beat the whole series with the freaking Donkey Kong controller, I'm sure anyone can beat it. He's not the hero we wanted or needed, but he's the hero to hijack our cause and condescend. Thank you for the $5 tip, Greyhound. This is why it's so important for... I'm telling you, I saw this train coming because I saw a couple of the articles that talked about easy mode in these games, and I saw them using the word accessibility, and I was like, oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare smuggle in your easy mode. I'm a journalist who plays 18 games a week, and I want easy mode so I can write my review faster. Don't you dare smuggle in easy mode in a FromSoftware game and use accessibility and motor-impaired persons to make your argument. It's an insult, and I am fully prepared to shred anybody who attempts to do it. Don't know if you can tell me what they think. I have a friend who has difficult nerve damage and really wants to play these games, but it's a massive pain when using a controller for more than a few hours. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they can't overcome frustration and tedium. It means that they're going to have to take the game in small pieces. That has nothing to do with their mental fortitude. Their physical impairment certainly has an effect on their mental fortitude. It might be trying and frustrating because they can't play as long as another person, but that is not a limitation on their ability to overcome and get better. It isn't. It's a challenge that's unique to them. Their physical impairment is not a limitation on their mental prowess and endurance. They simply have a challenge in front of them that they can't play for as long as another person. Number one, that doesn't create an imperative to make the game easier. And number two, that is, again, not connected to the conversation because, oh, well, I can't play for very long because of nerve damage. And if I could play longer, I could get better at the game. Not necessarily. Have you watched me play these games? Have you? I play once a week for about 2 hours because I talk to chat, put the controller down, go on rants, and what have you. I play once a week for 2 hours. That's not some inordinate amount of time where like I'm practicing and going through drills or FromSoftware boot camp. I play once a week for about 2 hours. If the game randomly shocked you in the arm but didn't shock anyone else, wouldn't you say that your difficulty has been increased? I would say I have a personal challenge, yes, but the game's not doing that. You're reacting as if the game is doing that. Again, you're conflating someone's personal impairment and challenge, and you're trying to conflate that with what the game is doing. The game's not doing that. The game isn't doing that. If you set up basic training for the military, right? Basic training for the military is set up, and let's just say they need to be able to do 20 push-ups. And because of your friend's nerve damage, he can't do it. He does 3, and he has sharp, piercing pain in his shoulder. Then you can't qualify. You're not going to be able to meet the minimum physical requirements to get through boot camp. You're not going to be able to. Well, if the push-ups are doing it. No, the push-ups are not doing it. The push-ups are the requirements, and you have a physical impairment that makes it impossible for you to overcome it. It's impossible. You simply can't do it. Like, you don't have arms, and therefore you cannot be a pilot in the Air Force. It's not that, well, the plane's doing it to them. No, it's not. What? No. Like, the base level expectation is that you need to be able to play the game, do the push-ups, or man the aircraft. It's not doing it to them. That would be like saying, I can't beat the first level in Mario. Why? If I play more than 5 minutes, I get a sharp pain in my hand. So what should they do? Well, they should just make the game run on autopilot, and I can hold the controller and imagine that I'm beating it. The logical conclusion of what you're saying is absolutely ludicrous, that if someone has an impairment that makes it so they can't play for long periods of time, that the game is doing it to them. The game isn't doing anything to them. Every game has a minimum amount of input that you must do in order to beat it. And if you can't reach the minimum amount of input to do it because of a physical impairment, that's not something that creates an imperative on the game to meet you at where you are. No. This is a horrible argumentation that I anticipate seeing in articles left and right. What you're doing is not surprising to me at all. projecting blame on the game for your friend's impairment. Your friend's impairment sucks. Let's be honest. We can empathize and sympathize and say, that sucks. That's horrible. What an awful thing to have to live with. But that doesn't mean I'm doing you any good if I make life easier for you. If I suddenly make games easier for you. Now, if I make life accessible to you, like if someone has to come to work in a wheelchair and people set up an elevator and a ramp to make the building accessible for them, that's great. Should they make their job easier? Should they make their job less challenging and less demanding? Would that be good for them? Would that be good for their life? I don't know. Probably not. Depending on their mental capabilities. Imagining as if their physical impairment is somehow like limiting their mental capabilities would be an insult to them. Like, you don't need to make my job easier. Just let me get in the building. I just need to get in the building. You don't need to make my job easier. What do you mean? Now, if they have nerve damage and they need to take frequent breaks to stretch or something, again, that would be an allotment made so that they could get back to the task at hand. But that doesn't mean you make their tasks easier or less demanding. You would just make an allotment for them to get up and stretch. Just like in this example, your friend could take breaks and get up and take a break and rest and then come back to the game. The game doesn't need to be made easier for him. Corver with 2 months, welcome back. Why does it matter if, say, the Army said, okay, he can do 3 push-ups, we're still going to let him in? Why would that matter to you? Oh my gosh, that would matter. Are you kidding me? Do you understand that, like, the militaristic psychology of a unit and why it's important that everybody goes through the same process of physical requirements and strength, resilience, mental fortitude? They need to rely on each other. It's life or death a lot of the times. Have you ever even looked at what goes into the training of these men and women that put their life on the line? Of course it matters to me. Because it matters if my cousin enlists and he's in a foxhole with Johnny couldn't do it, but his daddy got him through, then my cousin's at risk. He went in thinking we all have to do the same thing. We all have to meet the same minimum requirement. Of course it matters to me. It should matter to you. Would you really want somebody who's unable to get through the minimum requirements to be in a combat situation? Their life would be forfeit. You're sentencing them to death because you want to be nice? Your niceness would kill them. You see, the philosophy behind what you're saying, the philosophy that you're approaching this with is deadly, and you don't even realize it. It's not good. It's not good, because when you apply your philosophy in almost every other realm, it is destructive to the fabric of what it touches. Well, this person has a hard time sitting for long periods of time, so we'll make their job easier. Do you have any idea what that would do to the fabric of that business? That work would have to be offloaded onto somebody else. It would create resentment. It would create fractured workflow. You're assuming a lot. There are people in the Army who do other things than fight. My gosh. I'm assuming a lot. I'm assuming a lot. Oh, I believe you are sadly mistaken. You cannot put somebody into a militaristic unit psychological framework and allow them to do less than someone else. That's not good for them. It isn't. This use of accessibility with more than one definition is very frustrating. The core design of Dark Souls is inaccessibility. The world is always hostile to you. It's why bonfires are a relief. Accessibility has been used, though, more recently as a colloquialism, Brutal Gear, for increased accessibility options with respect to controllers and stuff. So there's not a better word to use, so I'm going to continue to use it. I think it's fair. I'll always make sure and define what I'm talking about, though. So there are things that you simply can't do with certain physical attributes. This is the problem when you buy into the idea that everybody is special and everybody can do the same thing as somebody else. It just isn't true. It is not true. There's only one Sistine Chapel for a reason. Because not everybody is at that level. Not everybody can do what that man did. It's just the facts. Not everybody can be a brain surgeon. It simply isn't true. You might not have the mental strength, fortitude, and recall ability to get through the schooling and the education. You might lack the basic motor function to be a brain surgeon. You just can't do it. This is reality, like living life on life's terms, not trying to twist reality to what you think it should be. That's why this philosophical position is so dangerous. You don't smell it when we're talking about Dark Souls or FromSoftware games in easy mode, but I smell it. I'm like, no. This is refuse. This is not a good way to think and treat people. It isn't. It's deadly. If I told my kids that, what an awful parent I would be. If one of my kids had an ailment and I acted as if it wasn't going to affect what they could do in life, that is treacherous to do to them. I am setting them up for ruin if I do that. It's a horrible thing to do to my kid. My daughter's egg allergy. You know what we do? We don't ingratiate her with a sense of entitlement and as if she could go into a restaurant and demand that they meet her in her ailment. I would never do that to her. No, you are going to have to live with this. This is your lot in life. It will limit what you can do. And the quicker you accept that, the better off you are. It's not about being special. It's about trying to understand why other people being able to play a video game without pain the way you play changes your experience. The developers, you have not established an imperative on the developers to design their game around something extremely subjective. You're taking an edge case of people that can't play games for long periods of time without experiencing pain. That's an edge case. It's not normative. It's not common. And therefore, you cannot create undue harm and requirement and demand on a company to meet this edge case of, well, this person has nerve damage and can't play games for extended periods of time. Well, so, okay, you can't sit for long periods of time. Should you be able to go to the movie theater and demand that they pause the movie every 45 minutes so you can get up and leave and stretch so that way you can come back and sit down without going through pain? Wouldn't that be absurd to require the movie theater to do that? It's not about an imperative. If From decided to make an easy mode, why would that make your game less good? See, I told you, chat, and there it is. The penny drops. The penny drops every time. You are trying to use your friend's edge case of nerve damage to smuggle in easy mode, and they are completely disconnected. They are not related to each other. Making Elden Ring easier has absolutely nothing to do with your friend's sucky situation. They are not connected at all. I told you that folks were going to do this, chat. Somebody right now in chat is doing it. They are fully prepared. I gotta see when this profile was created. Okay, they've got a really old profile, so it's not some person in here on an alt. I don't want to start conspiracy theories or paranoia about this person. So they've had their account for almost 10 years, so it's not somebody in here on an alt. Well, unless they've got, some Gmail account they use to hide who they are, and they've had it since 2013. That is not how no. You can't smuggle in an argumentation for easy mode in Elden Ring because you have a friend who has some sort of a nerve damage condition who makes it's hard for them to sit for long periods of time. No. Listen, and I mean this, I feel like I have more respect for your friend than you do, because I would want your friend to beat the game as it was designed. Take the breaks, play for small portions, right? Take your lickings and figure it out. You can do it. I believe your friend could beat Elden Ring regardless of the difficulty. Do you want to know why? Because I play Sekiro and Dark Souls 3 once a week for 2 hours, and I beat them. And I've gotten far, and it's been frustrating and irritating. I think your friend could do it. I think you sell him short, personally. I'm not personally attached to this. I don't have a dog in the fight. I think you're selling your friend short. How long can they play? What's the period of time they can play? Because you're using this vague idea that, well, they can't play for long periods of time. What's a long period of time? An hour? If they can't play for an hour, now you're creating a huge problem. You want a game to be so dadgum easy they can beat it in 20-minute snippets? This is a ludicrous discussion then. If they can play for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours, they're no different than me. I've seen my friend in tears trying to play other games. I don't want to see that. Yeah, your sympathy and empathy is fine, but sympathy and empathy can create, I think, an absolute unknown and sort of unseen subversive disrespect of the person. You can be subversively disrespectful to that person. Like, you're acting like, well, because you have this lot in life, this is horrible, this is awful. Well, then we have to make games easier for you. What? How long can he play? What's the longest period of time he can play? If you can't play for more than 45 minutes to an hour, again, that's such an edge case. That's such a particular problem. You can't make every game palatable to that. He wants to play as much as possible, but he probably won't be around as long as everyone else. Well, I mean, now we're getting into trauma dumping, and I don't endorse that. That's not what this chat is here for. If you want to have an intellectual discussion with me, that's fine. But if you want a trauma or sadness dump, that's not something that we do here. That's not what this chat and this channel exists for. There are resources for people that deal with these types of things, whether you're sad, anxious, or you suffer from just absolute, crippling psychological issues. This isn't the place for that to be. But if you cannot play for enough time to do minimum requirements in video games, those video games are not something that you can do. They're not. There are people, and they're like their bodies can't break down certain proteins, and they can't eat certain foods, and that freaking sucks. Right? Like, you think it's fun for kids? My wife's on a lot of these forums for egg allergies. You think it's fun for a kid to go to a birthday party and they can't eat the cake with the rest of the kids? You know what that feels like to a young mind? It's awful. It's terrible. It's passive, it's unspoken, but it's freaking terrible. But you do your child a great disservice if you act like that's not how it should be, and we're gonna go in there and we're gonna push for what we want at this birthday party. You're gonna turn your kid into an entitled, angry, bitter tyrant. Now, you can make allotments. My wife is very thoughtful, and she'll make allotments. She'll bring egg-free desserts with her so our kid has something to eat. But that's my wife taking care of my child, not asking somebody else to. Why would it be bad if the devs voluntarily decided to do it? I've already addressed your question, better late than never. If you're genuinely just asking the question, why would it be bad for FromSoftware to add an easy mode, okay? Let's ignore everything else you said, because this has nothing to do with your friend's plight. Whoops, I'm bumping the microphone. Okay? Your friend's plight is sad and terrible, and there apparently is no fix, so they have to bear that burden, okay? What I'm about to say has nothing to do with your friend, okay? If Elden Ring or any FromSoftware game were to get an easy mode, there's nothing bad or inherently wrong about it. It would be a very poor business decision because FromSoftware is an incredibly successful franchise. Incredibly successful franchise. And it would be a very bad business decision, so I'm speaking in the realm of business. I'm not speaking in the realm of morality. Wrong, right, bad, good. No. Business. Bad business decision for them to add an easy mode because it would dilute their identity and what they've created. Not only that, it is technologically not feasible given their development process. Your idea of an easy mode, it's not something their games are built around. Like, most games, and this is something that we got into a discussion about with God of War, most games go easy, medium, hard, super hard, and you know what they do? They just make the enemies less or more lethal, and they make you less or more tanky. That's all they do. That is so superficial in the realm of what we would call true difficulty, okay? And it's one of the reasons that a lot of people have made genuine and I think good criticisms of Give Me God of War. They've said the health regen's ludicrous. It makes it inordinately hard. It's not very satisfying. So the sweet spot for God of War is the hard mode, not Give Me God of War. And so FromSoftware doesn't build their games for you to just be like, hey, can I turn on easy mode? And then like, what, you're just way stronger, healthier, and the enemies are less strong and less healthy? That's just, they don't build their games around that idea. They don't. I would argue that most games don't build themselves around that idea. They just do it so that, you know, the journalists can put on story mode and beat the campaign in 10 hours instead of 20, and then they can write their review. Why? Well, because that's great free press, and it's not that hard to add that into the game to make it to where everything is a freaking piece of tissue paper, and you're basically have God mode on. Like, you can basically turn on God mode in like Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank, right? You're not really playing the game. You're like gliding through the game to see all the pretty colors and not genuinely interacting with the mechanics or the difficulty or the enemies or the fighting setup. You're not doing anything. And so a lot of the easy mode, hard mode games out there, funny enough, they're trash. The games aren't trash. The settings are trash. They don't do anything significant. They just make you God or a piece of wet tissue paper, and they either make the enemies God or a joke. That's like the spectrum they exist on. And FromSoftware doesn't do that. So when the discussion is so much bigger, than like, oh, well, why would it matter to you if there was an easy mode? Well, people become loyal to a brand because of the brand's identity. And if suddenly that brand's identity shifted, you might feel less loyal to that brand. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But bad business, according to who? Do we know their margins? Maybe FromSoftware built the game from the beginning with easy in mind. I feel more devs just put difficult by modding the HP damage. It would be a bad business decision according to the market, Julio. Listen, if you don't think putting easy mode in a FromSoftware game wouldn't be really bad PR and subsequently bad on their projected sales, if you don't think that, then you don't, I don't know if you've really interacted with FromSoftware fans or the FromSoftware, you know, the base of people. I just don't think so. It would be bad the market would determine that it's a bad business decision. Anybody with their weight in salt who does life coaching or business coaching would say you don't jettison your identity that late in the life of the company. Imagine if McDonald's suddenly was like, hey, half our menu is going to be super healthy, organic, you know, nutrition conscious meals. Okay, well, that'd be a bunch of money. There'd be a bunch of research. They'd have to house it, refrigerate it, and then you would hope that you would suddenly acquire that customer base, and you would hope that the people that come to McDonald's aren't suddenly like, McDonald's doesn't really feel like McDonald's anymore. What's all this healthy stuff on the menu? What is all this crap? You know, and you might start to lose people. You might start to lose patrons in the mix of spending more money. FromSoftware games aren't developed with easy mode. To argue from silence, we don't know, what if they did develop the game with an easy mode? You're just arguing from silence. There's no substance to that at all, given how they've talked about their games development in the past. There's proof in the opposite. They don't build their games with this in mind. What if From were to develop a game with multiple difficulty levels in mind, making it clear it is a vastly different game from the traditional experience, but setting those expectations? I'm telling you right now, it probably would be very bad for them. I think it would be a dilution of their brand. God of War did that to some success. I personally like the older style God of War. This has been a great debate, by the way. This has been a fantastic debate. So just so you know, when I hotly disagree with somebody, I'm really, really happy and excited when I get to do that. It's something that I greatly enjoy. So I don't want anybody thinking that I'm like annoyed or angry or something. We've had a very, very good discussion, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Reuse these settings. I got to get the next stream ready though. Looking for hang on, I gotta go full screen. We will be I gotta do okay. Let's see here. There's a huge image. Gotta change the thumb. No, it's bigger than 2 meg. Frick! Come on. Give me a second. No, I don't need to. I can just scroll up. It's in here. Oh, it was from last week. Here we go. All right, save image as. Change. There we go. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. Monk. Corrupted monk. Sekiro. Let's see. Noon. You're back. Welcome back. Guys, if you've been enjoying the show, do me a favor. Show some appreciation for the show today by smashing the like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will be back in just a moment, okay? We're going to switch gears in a little bit, but don't go anywhere, all right? Sekiro Owl Boss today. Somebody ordered some coffee like 45 minutes ago. I am really sorry for not calling this out. Silent Warrior, thank you so much. Second coffee order of the day. Welcome back. Let me go in here, set up the redirect. If you guys have been enjoying the show today, you'll probably enjoy what we have coming up next in about 30 minutes. More Sekiro. I was very sad. It won't let me scroll anymore. Troll from yesterday was a good laugh. Say you're fighting Owl today? Yeah, we're fighting the Owl today. Yeah. I've got it in I've got it in the thing already in the thumbnail. More Sekiro? Owl about to get clapped? Yeah. Hopefully, I'll probably be in a much better mindset to approach the fight today. It should be good. It should be good. It'll obviously be frustrating, and I'm sure it'll take me a while because I've taken now 2 weeks off. I was very, very close to just doing God of War today and being like, look, man, Sekiro's getting shelved, you know, and then just start Demon Souls or something. But I know that would have aggravated a lot of the FromSoftware fans. They'd have been like, man, you know, that's a big turning point in the game. You're supposed to do that. But, like, you know, I don't know. I'm finding Sekiro to be less satisfying than I hoped that it would be. I'm not finding it all that satisfying in the late games. It's making me want to put it down. I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I was going to. My experience with Sekiro was like, and then, like, this is really good. I know what I'm doing. And then like, and then, and like, it's like I'm constantly feel like as soon as I get to a place where I feel like, I'm enjoying the game, it makes the game unenjoyable again. I don't know. I feel like they make the game really, really hard to enjoy and feel satisfaction from. A lot of the people that have beat it and have really enjoyed it, I think a lot of them read wikis. I think a lot of them go to boss guides. And sure, like, once you know, like, every jot and tittle of what to do, yeah, it's great to apply that, but I think the learning process in Sekiro is, arguably, I think it's very frustrating. I think some of it's stupid. I don't know how much I like the game as much as I thought I was going to like it a lot more the more I got into it and the more I got into the parrying. But the more I've advanced through the game, I don't like how much they subvert you. I find it very frustrating. I don't know. I feel like they subvert you more than challenge you. They like, Sekiro gets you on a path of like growth and strength and awareness, and then they just subvert it, and they're like, yeah, well, now you got to play completely differently, or, oh, well, now there's this whole new thing, and it's like, I don't like it. I find it to be annoying. Back from when Sekiro first came out, the debate for easy mode was insane. Well, it's not surprising why people wanted an easy mode in Sekiro, because again, it's like every time you feel like you've got your footing, they kick the chair out from underneath of you, and I think it frustrates people. I don't know. I think it frustrates people. I think people feel like, man, I just finally got to a point where I feel like, okay, now, let me explain it this way. So I felt like in Dark Souls 3, I got better and better and better, and the bosses got harder and harder and harder, but I always kind of felt like we were dancing, and I was learning to, like, get my feet out of the way. But my skill in dancing was applied almost like every single time. In Sekiro, it's like, oh, you think you're good at dancing? You've not seen anything yet. You've not really truly seen what this game can do to you. And then just smacks you across the face. And you're like, well, what? Okay. okay. And then you got to learn all this other stuff, or play it a completely different way, or apply a whole new skill set. So it doesn't feel like I'm getting better and better and better, and then I have to kind of like rise to the occasion. I feel like in Sekiro, I get better, and they're like, you really don't know anything. You've got to learn this whole new thing now. So I have to like attach like a new thing to myself. Or yeah, like new dance, B. Like, I find it to be frustrating, because then it doesn't feel like you ever get to enjoy your satisfaction. You don't ever get to enjoy like, oh, I've gotten really good at the game now. It's like, well, no, I had to learn a whole new thing just to beat that guy. You know, I don't feel like I'm better. I feel like you're picking on me. That's why I've slowly started to like Sekiro less and less. I don't know. Miyazaki's a sadist is to keep the berserk philosophy of struggling. Yeah. I can respect what they're doing in Sekiro, but now that I know what they're doing, it just ends up annoying. I just get annoyed. I don't feel like you're challenging me. I feel like you're picking on me. I feel like you're picking on the player's lack of knowledge and subverting what they think they know at every new boss fight. I don't know. I feel like the issue with Sekiro is the mechanics are more different than the other FromSoftware. It's more hard for you coming out of Demon Souls. I came out of Dark Souls, but I know what you're saying. I disagree. It does progress you through the skills like deflect to aggressive with deflections to multiple deflections. It doesn't tell you what to do, and instead you have to figure it out. I don't feel like I apply my knowledge. I feel like I have to learn a whole new thing. That's the problem. Like, I had to apply my knowledge as Dark Souls 3 got harder and harder and harder. I had to apply my knowledge. I had to apply, like, okay, get out of the way. Okay, that's his attack pattern. All right. Oh, he does that. Okay, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. And Sekiro's like, well, yeah, you know how to do A, B, and C, but what about Q? And you're like, what? That's what it feels like. And I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's bad game design. I think I end up feeling like I'm getting picked on. I don't feel like I'm getting challenged. I don't feel like the game is testing my abilities. I feel like the game is saying, you don't have this ability yet. You have to acquire this ability through the boot camp of this fight. And I find it to be irritating and not satisfying. Like, once you finally beat a boss, you're like, I don't feel all that satisfied. I feel like, well, I had to, acquire a whole new fighting style that I'm not going to use in the next fight. I had to use it in this fight. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Just roll in Dark Souls. I think that's reductionist of what Dark Souls offers, but I know that's one of the more tried and true strategies in Dark Souls is to roll out of the way. I felt like the only boss that truly frustrated me was the ape. Other than that, I really enjoyed each boss and learning what I have to do to defeat them. The last two bosses truly test you if you were able to learn everything from the previous bosses. As someone who hasn't played Sekiro, I like how they set it up. It forces you to be a well-rounded player and not rely on one single play style. Yeah, I mean, you could defend it. I definitely think you could make a very, very strong argument of defense and say, well, it doesn't allow for one-trick pony play solution. You can't one-trick pony this. You got to come in and apply a wealth of knowledge in order to overcome this fight. And sure, yeah, I think you could make a strong argument and say that that's actually really good game design. You could say that that's actually like a really good that's a really good way to constantly keep the player on their toes. Experientially, I don't enjoy it. I feel like you're picking on me. It's like as soon as I feel like I've got things figured out and I want to walk in the room and kind of be like, yeah, I'm ready. I kind of know what I'm doing. They're like, no, you don't. You don't know anything. You only think you know, right? And so experientially, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying Sekiro. Experientially, I'm very annoyed most of the time. I really was enjoying it, and then I wasn't, and then I was, and then I wasn't. I've been up and down with it quite a bit. I've been up and down with it quite a bit. I don't feel like I've ever been just able to enjoy my knowledge and my skills. I feel like I am constantly having to completely unlearn and relearn, and I don't like that. I don't think it brings satisfaction. I think it brings irritation. I think some games add brand new mechanics with bosses to make them harder, but really it's just upsetting what the game has taught you. A Plague Tale did this a few times. Yeah. I think that's part of the problem is I'm never getting to enjoy the fruits of my labor. It's like, well, it's a whole new project now, you know? It's like, instead of getting to be like really good at carpentry and like, oh, I'm going to build a chair and now I'm going to build a table and, oh, now I'm going to try and, you know, make a door frame. It's like, well, now that I'm really good at carpentry, you want me to be an electrician. You know what I mean? So instead of getting to enjoy just being like a really good carpenter for a while, it's like as soon as you get good at being a carpenter, they're like, well, now you got to build a table that's wired with electricity. And now you got to build a table that's wired with electricity that is also got a water line run into it. You got to be a plumber too. And so I don't feel accomplished. No, I don't feel accomplished after my wins in the game, Dan. No, I don't. I feel annoyed. I feel like, well, that was freaking annoying. That guy was cheap, or that was stupid. I don't feel satisfaction at the end of boss fights in Sekiro. I felt a lot more satisfaction in Dark Souls 3. I felt a lot more satisfaction when I would end fights in Dark Souls 3. I didn't like when I beat Cinder, and I didn't like when I beat the Dancer. But virtually every other boss fight in Dark Souls 3, I felt like, yes, I overcame that. I did that, instead of being like, well, I learned that boss fight's gimmick, you know. I also learned to be more aggressive. I was too timid in my first playthrough. A lot of the endgame bosses force you to apply pressure to destroy their posture. It's frustrating. I get why you're getting frustrated. I think that's why the owl is so hard, because he is as aggressive as you normally are, so your timing is essential. Yeah. It's the antithesis of Metroid. In Metroid, you gain new abilities, and it makes you feel more powerful and allow you to do things you couldn't do before, tackle harder enemies, and go to places you couldn't. Yeah, and I'm a huge Metroidvania fan, and I think that's why Sekiro grates against my sense of satisfaction. I don't feel satisfied. I feel like, well, this guy was stupid and annoying, and they added a whole new thing that I had to figure out how to do, and I feel like most of what I've learned and most of my skills and finesse don't apply, so... You know, it's like every boss fight is a reset. Every boss feels like a reset in Sekiro, and that's why it doesn't feel satisfying. I don't feel like I get to walk in the room and feel awesome. I walk in the room and I'm like, well, what cheap new thing are you going to subvert my expectations with now, so that I have to completely unlearn and relearn, you know, my muscle memory from the past 10 hours, you know? You think you might be able to power through? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wanna beat it. I definitely don't wanna quit. You don't wanna have From Fridays and a FromSoftware focus and quit a FromSoftware game. That's certainly not what I want to do. Yeah, Creature said for moment one he didn't think I liked the game, and at first I didn't, and then I did, and I was like, look, man, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm feeling good, and then I didn't, and then I did, and then I didn't. Out of the 9 episodes we've played, I would say half of them have been like, oh, that was really good, I really like that, and then the other half I'm like, oh, frick this frickin' game, like, what in the world, like, I don't like this. Dark Souls 3 was a totally different kind of frustration. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 was more like, again, like I felt like I had gotten good, I felt like I had gotten better, and I was applying my skill to the fight. And in Sekiro, I feel like you're picking on me, like you're messing with me, and you're picking on me, and you're like, well, you got to figure this out, you know. And I guarantee you, a huge percentage of the people that have beat Sekiro went and read a freaking guide. They went and read a wiki, or they watched a video, and they're like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do against this guy. And I don't want to do that. I don't think you have to unlearn. I think it's experimenting to see if deflect, dodge, or jump is the best option to each move. You're doing better than I did on my first playthrough. You're missing a lot of mini-bosses where skills are learned and taught. Well, that's on them. I don't buy into this whole non-linear, we don't show you, tell you, or guide you, and then I get to the end of the game and you're like, well, there were all these really random, offshoot, vague, hard-to-find mini-bosses that would have taught you how to do all this. Well, frick you! Guide me to them! I get it, and it's stupid. It'll never not be stupid for a game to have fights and lessons and baked-in tutorials that are hidden from the player, and you go and all of a sudden you're really frustrated and someone's like, well, I mean, there's an offshoot boss off through this field of wheat, and if you take a left turn past this rock, you fall into a hole, and you'll learn the lesson that you need to know. Shut the frick up. Just put it in the game. Just guide me to it. You don't have to tell me how to beat them. You don't have to tell me, like, what the rules are. This non-linear hide tutorials from the player, it's stupid. It's stupid. Stupid to you? Shut up, Abe! Of course it's stupid to me! I'm the one saying it's stupid! Constantly telling somebody that it's their opinion is annoying! It's annoying. It's more annoying than a Souls game that constantly, well, to you? Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I expressed my opinion, it was my opinion. I'm glad you're here to constantly tell me it's my opinion. Go get a bot and program it, Abe, to every 20 minutes say, according to you, Lono, so that we know when I express an opinion that it's an opinion. Jiminy frick, when you grind that axe, I want to just clap you upside the head. You do it all the time. It is so annoying. It's annoying and unnecessary. Yes, of course, it's stupid according to me. Have you seen the blindfolded run? No. So say we all. Don't use it all up. Save some for later. Oh, it's so triggering. It's so triggering. Yes, of course, it doesn't even need to be said. It's so smarmy. It's smarmy and condescending, according to you. Have you had any fights in Sekiro that you enjoyed and thought were satisfying? I really liked Second Phase of the Ape. I did. I thought Second Phase of the Ape was dope. Once Madame Butterfly clicked, I liked it. Once Madame Butterfly clicked, I loved it. It was like, oh yeah, got her. Stay on top of her, like be aggressive. You know what I mean? And so smarmy to you, shush, frick you, Dan. Frick, it's condescending to you. There it is, Zubair. Frick both of you. Tag teaming the twins in chat with the nasty joke. There you go. I'm trying to think of some of the other fights that I thought were really enjoyable. I think I actually enjoyed the monk, even though something was goofy, the corrupted monk. Like, if you got too close to her, something weird was happening. Other than that, I liked the corrupted monk. I thought that was pretty enjoyable. We probably should have just ended after that. Like, have the corrupted monk in the thumbnail, have it in the description, beat the corrupted monk, and then end the play session. Like, don't get ahead of ourselves, right? The problem is with Sekiro is, like, really, really early on, you end up beating 3 or 4 bosses in a play session. Later in the game, having, like, an hour to an hour and a half long stream where I beat one boss, that's totally fine. We need to accept that that's okay. Is Abe okay? He's fine. You put the game down for days at a time and then you pick it back up. You never get to stay in rhythm and hold on to lessons and things you've learned. So when the game is so mechanically Genichiro. Yeah, Genichiro was really fun. And then I didn't like the sucker punch. When the game is so mechanically heavy, it's hard to pick back up. Unlike Dark Souls 3, which is mechanically simple. Right. I think that's part of the problem with From Friday as a concept right now is, yeah, I'm coming back after a week, this time 2 weeks. Yeah. I know I'm making it harder on myself. When you put down the game after having a good night, you have a good night, you do a bunch of things, you learn some things, you fail a couple times, you put the game down and come back the next day, sure, you're right back in rhythm with the game. I'm not doing that. I am setting things up. I'm setting things up in a way that makes them a little bit more uniquely challenging for myself. For sure, I am. Yeah. When Elden Ring gets here, we'll be playing it throughout the week. So like we hopefully won't feel that rhythm disruption. You have to have felt something when you had the lightning reversed and you made him a chump. Well, the reason I really liked beating Genichiro was because he I need this as an emote, pretentious Lono. Yeah, there it is. It was because I only got to the lightning round. What was it? My second? I think it would have been my second time. Second or third time. I only got to his lightning round like 2 or 3 times. And I just went in and absolutely beat the snot out of him. I was so angry. That was satisfying because the thing that frustrated me with Genichiro was just tell me there's another phase. Right? Just tell me there's another phase. Like, I don't like suddenly being like, oh, there's a completely separate phase here. Because people are like, oh, Genichiro. And I made light work of him. I'm like, this guy's a freaking joke. I was like, I'm beating the snot out of him. And then all of a sudden his second phase shows up. And I'm like, oh. And I didn't like that. I feel like you're picking on me. You're subverting my expectations in a way that feels like a sucker punch. Like when Madame Butterfly gets back up. Like, look at the points in the game where I get the most broken and almost quit. It's not because it's too hard. It's because you subvert my expectations. The first time I quit the game, I finally got Madame Butterfly down and she gets back up. Frick you, man! You subverted my expectations. You lied to me. Genichiro. Oh, Genichiro. Oh, he's so hard. Oh my gosh, Lono. And I beat him. He gets a second phase. Frick you, man! What's this? What is this lie? That's why when I got to the ape and I chopped his head off, I was like, he's getting back up. He's getting back up. Look at all the Dark Souls 3 bosses. Yeah, but they don't have little red dots on their health bar that teaches the player, oh, you got to get this enemy down 2 or 3 or however many times. They establish that early on and they use it to trick you. It's not about like, oh, well, in Dark Souls they always get back up. Yeah, well, in Sekiro they establish death blows and little red dots to establish how long the fight should be, and they subvert that expectation all throughout the dadgum game. Why even have the stupid red dots? Why even have them? Don't even put them there. Just go in the... Seriously, I genuinely mean this. Why are the red dots even there? Why? Because if all I gotta go in and do is whittle down their health or posture to the point that I get a death blow on them, you don't need to tell me how many death blows I need, because just like Dark Souls, like you're saying, sometimes they get back up. All you do is set an expectation so you can subvert the expectation, so then not only am I surprised, I'm annoyed. That, like I said, Sekiro picks on you. It messes with you. It lies to you. That's why I get frustrated. My most frustrating moments in the game, that's what's going on. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't make a mistake. I didn't mess this up. I didn't foul out. You're lying to the player. Yeah, we got these red dots, and you just have to get rid of the red dots. They're called death blows, and And like 70% of the bosses don't even abide by their death blow count. So why the frick are they even there? What were the Elden Ring leaks that were taken down? The ones that we watched a week ago. Or more. When was it a week ago? We watched 2 different channels, and both their videos disappeared. And we got rid of our video just to be careful. I don't know why they went for them and nobody else, because there are lots of other streams with those leaks still up. After your 3rd or 4th playthrough, you become the bully. Oh, I'm sure. Like, nothing I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying it's like it's an indictment of the game, like, oh, it's a bad game. I'm saying the frustration comes from outside of the game at that point for me. It's like, so in Dark Souls 3, when I almost beat Pontiff Sullivan on my third try, and the camera freaked the frick out, and I got, like, triple hit, like, whoosh, whoosh, like, all of a sudden, him and his projection hit the, beat the snot out of me because I couldn't see what the frick was going on, right? My frustration was with something external. Right? No, I've not watched the Elden Ring Magic League video. It was like, oh, come on, what was that? Do you see? And I feel like in Sekiro, I'm constantly feeling that external frustration. Like, frick you, frick you, man. You don't have to lie to the player. You don't have to trick the player. There's no reason for that. Oh yeah, you beat the boss. But did you? Oh, they're getting back up. Oh, you beat the boss, and here's a cutscene and a whole new phase with lightning. Just put 2 red dots up there. Just put 2 red dots up there. I would have known that I wasn't done yet. Is it safe to come back? Shut up, Abe. I'm taking a 10-minute drink. I'm taking a 10-minute drink dark roast like I'm in a commercial with 2 hands. Break. What you're doing? What you're doing this? Like this? Is that what you're doing? And if you use your healing already, it's very frustrating. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. They put 2. You didn't know about the third. That's right. Sorry, Eugene. Yeah, he's got 2 instead of 3. If he would have had 3, I would have been like, okay, I'm not done yet. Something else must be about to happen. I don't know. It would have been like, don't you see why it's frustrating? I mentally prepare for the fight. Same with Madame Butterfly. It's like you mentally prepare. You're like, if I can just get through this, I'll get them. They have 2 red dots, or she has 1. You're like, yes, this is tough. This is frustrating. Got it. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even look at the red dots anymore. I don't. Because it's a lie. The game is a liar. The game doesn't tell you the truth. It lies to you. And so I stopped looking at the red dots. Because frick your red dots. Until it gives me credit for the kill at the end, I don't sigh a relief. I wait until that happens. I do. Because why? Why? I don't even care anymore. Your mechanic is a lie. You lie to the player, so why should I even look at it? Why is it even up there? Who frickin' cares? Just go in and fight Genichiro and put duct tape over that part of your monitor. Because the red dots don't frickin' matter. They don't even need to be up there. They don't serve a purpose other than to lie to the player. That's the only reason they're up there, is to mess with you. I passionately hate the death blow system. What Sekiro does would be an instant kill on any living creature due to blood loss. I'm okay with the resurrection, but to death blow someone multiple times is annoying. Nah. I assume all boss fights are 5 phases until I'm proven wrong. Yeah, this can be a 5 or 6 phaser, It'd be a 5 or 6 phaser. Ends up being a 3 or a 4, and you're like, oh, that was pretty easy. The feeling is awesome. I did it. F. I completely disagree. Why have mechanics if the mechanics are simply used to mislead the player? I think that's stupid. I do. I think that is so stupid. Here's a mechanic. It establishes how many times you have to get a death blow on the enemy to kill them. Okay, cool. But not really. Wait, what? Why have the mechanic then? Well, to subvert the player's expectations and to arbitrarily increase frustration by lying to you. Like, okay. Like, I'm going to train you in boxing. You're like, okay, cool. All right, we're going to practice low blocks right now. So you need to watch your guard, and then I have some guy out of the frame just come in and clock you across the face. And you're like, what? Why'd you do that? Well, it's important to establish rules and break them so that you're always ready and you're always prepared. You wouldn't be much of a boxing coach for very long because people would get sick of being lied to. I'm a huge FromSoftware fan. Played and beat all of the Soulsborne games multiple times over. I've never enjoyed a single play session in Sekiro. It's not my jam. According to Nevermind. Yeah, I don't care about like having multiple death blows and so much blood loss. That doesn't bother me. Like, oh, it's so unrealistic. Like, really? We have dragon rot and we come back to life, and a guy made a prosthetic that out of like wood and stone that we use to scale buildings. I don't really think we need to worry about realism here. When are you gonna fight the owl? Shortly here. Shortly. Their bosses, though, I feel they were fine with breaking the rules a couple of times. A couple of times? What? It's not a couple of times. I feel like more bosses have broken the rules than haven't. Now, many bosses don't break the rules, but the big bosses, why even have the dumb dot up there? Every big boss I have fought in, every big boss I've had a fight with since Madame Butterfly, I feel like has broken the rule. Madame Butterfly did it. Genichiro did it. The ape did it. I'm assuming the owl's gonna do it. We got him fired up before he booted up the game. Oh, that is an amazing emote. That's actually. Well, look, if you guys want that new emote, you gotta listen. Let me open it. All right, listen. Hang on, I gotta open up the browser to show it to you. You guys, if you guys want another emote, you got to get a little member train going. We need a lot more members. I think we need like 50 or 40 some odd members. So you got to get a little member train going. Okay. Listen, if you want this as an emote. If you want that as an emote, then I mean, we're going to need some members, okay? We're going to need about 50 people to hit the join button, hit the $sign at the bottom of your screen, become a paying member, and let's unlock that. Oh. Can we gift memberships yet? No, sorry. Did the same person who did the coffee emotes do that one too? What? It's my face. KBD Cowboy does a membership. There it is. Emote or an NFT. Let me tell you how many members we need. Let me tell you. I'll tell you the exact number that we need if you want to unlock that emote. Memberships. We had a little uptick the other day. And wow. Badges and emojis. Emoji. Oh, it says 4 more members needed. We actually only need 4 more members. We need 450 members. So we only need 4 more members. For that emo. What would we call it? Lono P-R-E-T, like pretentious, but we wouldn't make you spell out pretentious. What would we do to make that really easy to type? Lono what? No, upgrading your membership won't count. No. Don't do that. Lono actually? Yeah, Lono actually. That's good. Lono actually. This man said 50, but it's only 4. We need 50 to get to 500. I thought 500 was the next emote unlock. We must have hit 400 and only needed 450 to get the next one. Yeah, we'll do Lono actually. Okay, there's Detroit. Detroit with a brand new membership. There it is. You're messing with you? All right, hang on. Let me make sure. Did you make this a PNG? Yeah, he made it a PNG with transparency. Okay. We need 3 more people. I'm going to buy all the skins. Yeah. We need 3 more people. How much is the combo membership? Yeah, we don't have combo memberships anymore. It's spelled actually. And then I need to go in here and go. Is it number 2? Is it coming through? Yo, Skip Toasty and Mark Russell. Skip Toasty and Mark Russell. And there it is. There it is. Thank you so much. See, we just need to start setting goals because you guys all hit the join button when we have goals. Come on, man. We're trying to hit 500 members. Okay, badges and emojis. Emoji. And hang on. I need to refresh the page, I think, because it still says 4. Eugene at 5 months. Valiant says, what a sellout. Yeah. It shows that we have 450 now. Okay, hang on. Badges and emoji. Add another emoji. Actually. Oh, it's super small. You're gonna have to make it. You're gonna have to make it bigger. There's something wrong with it. It's not. Yeah, I gotta cancel. It's super small. Hang on, let me go in. How long have we been streaming? Oh, we got 10 minutes. Where does it say size recommendations? Can I send you the file? It's a big image that you made it from. So just can't you save it as a larger PNG, Sven? Your screen capture of my face has got to be huge. What? When I open the original, I think unfortunately there must be a piece of the artwork that hasn't been erased. Oh, I know what it is. Sven, save it to where it's a square. It needs to be a square, but shrink the empty space around it to as small as possible. Does that make sense? Crop it. Crop it to where there's not such an exorbitant amount of empty space around it. Keep it a square and then get rid of all the empty space around it. That's what you need to do. The PNG's not too small. You have too much empty space around it. What YouTube does is it considers the entire image as that size. Does this mean the dono bar is coming back too? Well, now we need 50. Now we need 50 more for the next emote. We need 50 to get us to 500. Maybe we'll set that goal next week. All right, let me end the poll. Let me get a tweet ready. Yeah, base camp is smaller. That's exactly right. There it is. Is it a square? If it's a square, it'll work. Okay, there you go. Okay. Dragon Osmium. Dragon Osmium coming in with a brand new membership. He wants to get his hands on that. He wants to get his hands on that emote, dude. There it is. Lono actually. We might have to. I might try to zoom it in. Open original. Hey, hang on, I have the original. I might try to zoom it in later, like in Photoshop. Download. So that way it's easier to see. I might be able to like up the contrast and stuff. Okay, hang on. We got to go here, and we got to switch cap cards. Okay, let's make sure our sound is synced. Okay. Clean capture. Readjust our crop here. Okay. Yeah, we need to get it bigger, like the forehead one or the IQ one. What's it called? Brain. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it bigger, like Brain. Okay. All right, if you're wanting to come watch me get really, really salty at the owl in Sekiro, there's a link in chat. We will also redirect. We will also be redirecting. Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This video will be the continuation of my From Friday series in Sekiro. We are fighting the Sekiro Owl boss today. This is episode 9. We discussed this morning the Elden Ring leaks, the Elden Ring leak gameplay that got taken down by FromSoftware. We're not sure why some of it's not been taken down on certain channels. We actually took down our own coverage of it. We will be doing a live read.